Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to PlayOnSports.com's presentation of Georgia High School Association Friday Night Football, coming to you from the Queen City of Georgia, Gainesville, Georgia tonight. From City Park Stadium, we bring you the visiting Loganville Red Devils and the Gainesville Red Elephants on homecoming night here in Gainesville. Along with my partner, Chris King, this is Kevin Beck, along with Kenny on the camera and our producer, Jason. We are thrilled to have you with us for the first night in November, but the last night for teams to find a place into the playoffs for the 2012 season. Once again, a great night for football here in North Georgia, starting to have a little chill in the air, and it feels like a Friday night for homecoming here in Gainesville. Captains on the center of the field, and looks like Loganville in the white has won the toss, and they have elected to defer until the second half, and Gainesville, celebrating homecoming tonight, will receive to start the action. And Chris King, a big one here tonight for Gainesville. Really nothing to play for except for momentum. The Loganville Red Devils come in. Well, they're looking to salvage some sort of positive anything on their season. The Gainesville Red Elephants come in 5-0 in the region, 7-1 on the year. Loganville having a tough run of it, 2-6 and 1-5 for the Loganville Red Devils, looking, as we said, for something positive to round out their 2012 season.
Yeah, and as far as Gainesville is concerned, you said they're sitting good. They're undefeated in the region. Going to play Loganville tonight. Anything's possible. You really got to get out there and play 48 minutes of football, and hope you don't have any problems, any injuries, anything, any unforeseen problems. But the interesting thing about it is, mathematically speaking, if something was to happen tonight, if Loganville was to upset Gainesville, Heritage plays at Appalachia tonight. The standings stand right now: Flowery Branch 7-0 in the region 8-5A, followed by Gainesville 6-0. Heritage is 5-2. If Gainesville loses tonight, Heritage wins. That knocks it down to a half a game. Then if Gainesville could possibly lose again next week, they'd have the big matchup at Flowery Branch. Gainesville could slide down as far as third mathematically. Now, as far as strength of schedule, your chances are Gainesville should have no problem in this game, and they should go into next week's game against Flowery Branch undefeated, but anything's possible. The battle right now, Kevin, if we could take a look at the number 4 and 5 spot in the region, Clark Central, Appalachia are sitting at 3-3. And they're both going the opposite directions. Clark Central has lost 3 in a row. Appalachia has won 3 in a row. Clark Central plays Winder Barrow and then the Classic City Showdown next week against Cedar Shoals. Appalachia tonight is at Heritage, and then they finish against Winder Barrow. One of those two teams is not going to make the playoffs, both of them sitting right now in the 4th spot. So not only is Gainesville jockeying for position, there are other teams in this 8-5A that are jockeying. So a big game not only for Gainesville tonight, but for a lot of other teams in Region 8-5A.
And Gainesville started out, this is actually the third time we've seen them on a Friday night, Chris, on PlayOnSports.com. They started out their season with a big win over Buford, and it has been a steamrolling ride ever since. The only stumble on their season was a loss to West Forsyth back in August. They fell 32-30 in that one. They shut out West Forsyth in the second half, made a valiant run, and came up just 2 points short of a miraculous comeback victory. So the only blemish on their record went all the way back to August for the Red Elephants, and they have really impressed everyone in Georgia High School Association so far in 2012, looking to continue that here. And Chris, you could throw the words trap game at this one, but really it doesn't look like on paper that the Red Elephants of Gainesville should have any trouble with Loganville here tonight, but we've seen crazier things happen on a Friday night in high school football, so we're going to have to let them play the 48 minutes of this one. And Loganville has elected to give the football to Deshaun Watson and that high-powered offense over there in Gainesville. If I'm the coach, Chris, I don't know if I want Deshaun Watson anywhere near that football field, let alone having the football first.
Coming into the game, Watson over 2,100 yards, actually 2,118 yards passing to be exact, and that's good for the 6th best passing numbers in the state of Georgia, 71% completion ratio, and the kid's also got 11 touchdowns while rushing the ball for 731 yards. So he is very, very potent. He's just a junior. Right now he's going to Clemson, but anything's possible, and right now we're just about ready for kickoff.
Getting set to go. Matt Flynn going to kick it off, the senior kicker from Loganville, as we get set for action on homecoming night here in Gainesville. Short kickoff going to be fielded at the 11-yard line by the Gainesville Red Elephants. Return to the 21, now trying to fight for yardage, and going down right there is Fred Payne at about the 18-yard line, try to make something happen on the outside, and that is where Deshaun Watson and this high-powered offense, Chris, will go to work, averaging 45 points per contest, and that's bad news for Loganville. They're only averaging about 18 and a half And that defense over on Gainesville's side, no slouches either, buddy, just allowing 138 points so far on the season, where Loganville has only scored 148. So a very tall task out there tonight for Coach Eric Godfrey and his Loganville Red Devils. Watson going to work. They're going to go on the ground and try the middle. Nothing happening there. Short gain on first down and 10. A beautiful night for football here in Gainesville, about 50 miles north of the city of Atlanta. As we get into November, Friday night football, Chris, just kind of feels right to have a little chill in the air for Friday night contest.
Watch Evan Messer. He's a senior linebacker for Loganville, 5'8", 208 pounds. We should call his name quite a bit tonight for the Loganville defense.
A little eager there on the right side for the Red Elephants. Going to be a false start there. March them back 5.
And Kevin, a little scare thrown into Gainesville last week. Early in the game last week, they were down 21-7. A couple of fumbles, a couple of miscues by the quarterback Watson, but they quickly righted the ship and came back and had a comfortable win. But it just goes to show you that anything's possible when you line up and play both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Call it 2nd down and 16 for Watson and company. They're going to go outside, flanker screen, and picking up some good yardage out there on the screen is going to be Lahias Leverett. He is one of the stars and one of the weapons for Deshaun Watson here in Gainesville. Chris, we're going to see a very fast-paced offense run here by Gainesville. They look to put up a lot of points and really keep the defense on their heels, and you'll see that right here. 3 wideout bunch to the near side, including big number 74 down there, set up as a wideout.
And there's somebody not being covered down here.
Jamal Dabney. And they go to the outside flanker screen looking to set that up with some blockers, but the pass is low and would have been better off to just let that one hit the ground. But we're going to be back to the 20-yard line. And so an inauspicious start, 3 and out plus a penalty for the Red Elephants. And it looks like Loganville should get the football in pretty good field position.
You got Taylor Boss back deep to receive for Loganville.
And Deshaun Watson is in punt formation back at his own 5-yard line. So doing it all tonight, the very talented quarterback. And a wobbly nose-up spiral. Going to bounce at midfield, take a great Gainesville bounce inside the 40. And that's where Loganville will go to work. Taylor Boss just lets it go. And we will get our first look at Loganville's offense here after a 3 and out at City Park Stadium in Gainesville.
Well, Kevin, I'm sure if you're Loganville, you have a laundry list of things you want to do to try to stop this high-powered offense of Gainesville. And one of the things that you probably can scratch off your list right now is to stop them on the initial drive if they get the ball. Good job by Loganville's defense. They did have help from a couple of miscues and a penalty, but regardless, stats are stats. Loganville has the ball, first down.
Going to go to work at their own 36-yard line. Weis Harrison, the junior quarterback, under center for the Red Devils. And they're going to go on the ground to start it off the right side for just a couple. And we're going to have late flags thrown in. Bernard Merriweather, the ball carrier for Loganville, but we've got a flag. And that is going to be an illegal chop block. Wow, against the defense. You don't see that very often, Chris, but you're going to have a chop block foul against the defense. And that is a present right off the bat for Loganville. So a couple of mistakes there, little mental errors and lack of concentration and execution out of the gate here for the Red Elephants.
As I mentioned, they did struggle at the beginning of the game last week as well. Kevin, you mentioned Loganville's running back, Bernard Merriweather. He is quite a load, 5'10", 205 pounds. He's going to get the bulk of the carries tonight for the Red Devils.
All right, so a big break for Loganville. Harrison and company already inside Gainesville territory. Merriweather with the carry inside the 45 down to the 42-yard line, so a good push there. And another late flag comes in over on the right side in the defensive backfield.
Devin Stringer on the tackle that time for Gainesville, along with, looks like it was Brinquest Dukes.
So another flag late in the play is thrown on the defensive side of the football, and this one is also going to go against Gainesville. So it looks like Loganville didn't get the memo, Chris, that they were supposed to lay down and roll over for the Red Elephants. Personal foul against the Red Elephants.
And I tell you,
two 15-yard penalties, partner. That's 33 yards right off the bat.
If I'm on the Gainesville sideline, I steer clear of Coach Bruce Miller right now. He cannot be a happy camper.
Loganville has run 2 plays for a total of 5 yards, but they've gotten 30 yards in penalties. Flanker screen to the outside. Alencio Graham on the receiving end, but he's going to go down shortly after that reception. A gain of maybe 2 on the play. He juggled that one And that gave the defense a chance to close on the tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 8 at the 25. So not the start that this capacity crowd expected here in Gainesville on homecoming night. Loganville, as we said, comes in with a record of 2-6, looking to turn their season into something positive here at the tail end. Here's Harrison from the shotgun. Then they go direct snap to Merriweather this time. Looking for the edge. Flag comes in late, and Merriweather goes down at about the 22-yard line. So a lot of flags early in this one.
Looked like it was Devin Stringer again on the tackle. This one's going to go against the offense, Kevin.
Yeah, Merriweather tried to get the edge there, and that flag was thrown right where you're going to see a defensive or an offensive tackle try to turn that defensive man back in, and he had a grip on him, and it will be holding back to the 36-yard line. So Loganville returns the favor, and they will be 2nd and very long. We'll call it 2nd down and 20.
And Kevin, the junior linebacker, Devin Stringer, he's already made 3 or 4 tackles. He is leading the team in tackles, 100 tackles, including 4 for a loss coming into this ball game, and a nice stout average of about 12 to 12 and a half tackles per ball game.
So a miscue by Loganville really puts them behind the chains now. Merriweather spread to the near side as a wideout. They're going to go on the ground this time, give it to Braxton Beck. A play action had me fooled, Chris. Looked like Beck had the ball, and a late flag comes in.
Harrison
hurt on the play, and he is shaken up, Chris. A great ball fake had me completely fooled.
Looked like he...
and he is favoring that left side, and Chris, he is not going anywhere in a hurry. A huge, huge break.
Looks like he got drugged down from somewhere in the upper extremities, and unfortunately it looked like his body went one direction and the leg or the ankle may have went the other direction. I'm hoping I'm not right, but that's what it looked like.
So the foul is against Gainesville. It will be a 1st down, or very close to it. Looks like they're going to move the chains on the personal foul. Might have been a horse collar situation, Chris. As said, a great fake by Harrison to keep the football, and that left ankle is not going to take any weight at all. Tough break for Loganville here in this one. 8:28 to play in the first quarter, and their star junior quarterback is being helped off the football field.
We should see junior Josh Lawton come in the game for Loganville. We'll see. A tough break losing your starting quarterback early in the game.
Well, if there's any bright side to this, we are early in this contest. Maybe he can get that worked on and get back into the ball game. But right now, a huge, huge letdown for Loganville. They're driving the ball. They've had the gift of a couple of yards on penalties by Gainesville, including this one, 1st down and 10 from the 22. And as Chris, you documented, Josh Laughlin, the junior QB, comes in to spell his man Harrison. Merriweather on the give, right side. Nice job there on the tackle down around the 14-yard line. Looked like he had a little more on the outside and gets brought down hard for a gain of about 4.
Defensive back Quamon Peoples making the tackle that time for Gainesville.
So we'll keep you updated on the Royce Harrison injury. If we see anything happening on the sideline, we'll let you know. But right now it is in the hands of Josh Laughlin. He's got Merriweather in the backfield along with Braxton Beck. Very young team out of Loganville. This will be Beck get on the give, the option to the right side, across right tackle inside the 10. Good carry there. A couple more yards. Good positive yardage on the ground, Chris, not being intimidated too much by that big Gainesville defensive line.
He did a good job of slithering and finding a little bit of a gap and got some good yards. By the way, Stringer on the tackle again.
So wholesale changes and substitutions for Loganville. They run fresh legs in there again. Beck and Merriweather with Laughlin. This will be Merriweather, right side, puts his head down, and he'll get down to about the 5-yard line. That should be good enough for a Loganville 1st down.
Good second effort that time. Michael Pittman was the first man to making contact for Gainesville.
Got to be impressed with the effort out of the box here for Loganville, Chris. They have been gifted about 45 yards on this drive, but that's part of the ball game. And right now, Loganville threatening here at Gainesville, and I think we have what you could describe as a stunned crowd at City Park.
Well, the defense stood initially, and now what's happening is you're taking time off the clock, you're moving the football, you're putting yourself in position to score. That's exactly what you want to do if you're the underdog from Loganville.
First and goal from the 5. And we are going to have a timeout called by Loganville as they get set to go in. First and goal from the 5, Chris. So Gainesville, pretty similar to last week. A couple of mistakes. Got them behind early. They find themselves in a pretty similar position right now. If Loganville can punch this in, I think everybody, including the folks in the press box, would be fairly stunned at the turnabout in the first 6 or 6.5 minutes or so.
It'd be a good start for Loganville. Kevin, interesting about Loganville, their offense probably should not suffer that much. Not that I'm saying one quarterback's better than the other one, but Loganville's offense is pretty much branded around Bernard Merriweather. The quarterback, Josh Laughlin, can come into the ball game, and I don't believe, looking at some past stats, Loganville is one of those teams that is going to spread it out and just go down the field and try to put a whole bunch of points on the board. You mentioned earlier they were averaging their points per game.
Loganville's only about 18, 19 points a game.
So it's not in the situation that, let's say, if Gainesville lost Watson or something like that. The two quarterbacks thus far are kind of similar in their abilities.
So big point in the ball game early, 6:28 to play in the first quarter. Here comes Loganville. They go with Merriweather, right side again, tries to make the edge. Gainesville waiting for him there at the 6, and he'll be gang tackled by a herd of red elephants over there. No gain on the play, maybe lost half a yard. So, Chris, right now this responsibility falls squarely on the shoulders of that Loganville offensive line, and they seem to favor that right side. They've made a lot of money over there so far in this ball game with Merriweather and Beck running to the right.
May not be a bad idea, or may not be a bad time for a little play action. You've got
play action or a screen right now with that aggressive stance of Gainesville coming after you.
You've got Gainesville's defense. They're very left-handed right now because Loganville's going to the right side. Maybe spin around and do something to the opposite side of the field.
Second down and goal. Motion behind Laughlin and a false start on the left side of that offensive line.
I think we may have had a little encroachment on the defensive side.
Let's see who jumped first. There's going to be encroachment against the defense, so gift wrap another handful of yards for Loganville. And, Chris, this is unlike anything we've seen out of this Gainesville team. They're normally very composed. This, as we said, third time we've seen them this year. Last time we saw them, they really steamrolled Appalachia on this field. But right now, they are a little bit stunned and a little bit on the back foot right now. Second down and goal from the 2. Loganville's first possession of the ball game. 3 and out for Gainesville as they took the opening kick, and we find ourselves in a precarious position for Gainesville, and Merriweather goes left side. Touchdown, Red Devils. The drive goes 65 yards and capped off by the 2-yard run by Merriweather.
And Kevin, the first play of this drive on the ground to the left side was successful, and it put 6 points on the board for Loganville.
And of that 65 yards on the drive, Chris, you'd have to say about 45 yards were gift yards from Gainesville penalties. Matt Flynn in for the extra point. It is up. It is high. And it's no good. He pushed it off to the right-hand side, and that is something they can ill afford to do. So it'll be 6-0 with 5:11 to play in the first quarter. So Chris filed that under. Didn't see that coming. Loganville down the field with some help by Gainesville mistakes. 2 very big personal fouls, 30 yards right off the bat. And before Loganville had run 3 offensive plays, they had moved 35, 36 yards. And as you said, I would not want to be down there on the sideline right now, anywhere near Coach Bruce Miller.
You know, the interesting thing is, I mean, not only did Loganville score, they lost their starting quarterback. It was kind of disorganized a little bit because anytime you bring in your backup quarterback, you're not planning on playing your backup quarterback. But I did mention, didn't seem that they asked him to do a lot. But for Loganville right now, Kevin, we know Gainesville's offense is very potent. We know that Gainesville made a few mistakes on their initial drive. What Loganville's defense needs to do right now is forget about that 7 on the board and start playing football as if this was the beginning of the game again, because you know Gainesville is going to do what they can to get rid of those mistakes, and they're going to come right at Loganville.
So here we go, an onside kick Rolling forward now. All over it is Loganville. Looks like they may have it. Now I have to see if Loganville touched it, Chris. It looked like one of the Loganville players might have touched it at the 45. I saw that myself as the kicker was running next to the ball. It may have bounced up and nicked him on the leg, and that will be a very bad break for Logan. It's a great call, coming out aggressive.
It's one of those things that ball is very oblong, and you do not know which direction it's going to bounce. And I do believe, as you said, the kicker was following the ball, and it just kind of took a bounce to the left and hit him in the ankle. But
and ideally what you want to do as a kicker is run behind the ball, Chris, so that can't happen. But the ball didn't move as fast as he thought it was going to, and it bounced up and caught him on the leg. A great call, high-risk, high-reward situation there called by Loganville, and unfortunately it backfired on them. And here comes Deshaun Watson and the Red Elephants, probably with a little chip on their shoulder right now, down 6-0. They're going to go to the outside. Now they go with play action to the inside, and here comes Trey Harrison. He gets tripped up at the 45-yard line, little Statue of Liberty. And that's a big pickup there, and that finally gives the Gainesville crowd something to cheer about. It's the first noise we've heard out of the near sideline, Chris, since we kicked this thing off. And they go straight back to the quick offense. No huddle play, no huddle set, we should say, for Deshaun Watson and company.
That's a difference when a ball club, you've got so many weapons, you've got so many people you have to watch.
Michael Bird on the carry goes inside for just a couple down to about the 22-yard line.
And Kevin, as I said, it's not going to take Gainesville long. They're coming right back quickly, aided with the botched onside kick attempt.
And somewhere down there they poke the bear, or the elephant in this case. Here comes Harrison another time with a head of speed on the right side. Gets a block on the outside. And it looked like he may have tripped over the legs of his blocker there, Chris, inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. But he was at full speed when he reached the edge. Looked like that was going to have more on it. But it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Red Elephants. And look how quickly they get to the line of scrimmage.
Trey Harrison trying to get off the field, needing a break.
Watson to throw. Fires over the middle. Got a man who falls down. Otherwise, that is 6 points. Caleb Heyman on a nice slant pattern there at the 2. He will go down there. 1st and goal. And just like that, Chris, here come Gainesville in a big hurry.
And Loganville has to get more pressure on Watson. He had too much time to find his receiver that time.
They're going to go inside this time. Michael Bird again gets the give left side. Not much happening there. Maybe one.
Pretty good tackle internally that time by Loganville, Evan Messer.
And, Chris, these guys are absolutely hopping up off the ground right back to the line of scrimmage, not giving Loganville a chance to breathe. Now here's Watson, empty backfield. Motion in front of him. He's going to keep it himself on the QB draw. Spin and get in. So that didn't take very long, aided by the botched onside kick by Loganville. Gainesville has tied it up and is 1 kick away from taking the lead.
Well, it's tough enough to try to stop Gainesville when you pin them back deep, but when you give them the opportunity to start in your own field position, as Loganville did, a lot more times than none, the results are not positive. Gainesville, as I mentioned many times before, wasting no time, and with the PAT, quickly gets back on top of this ballgame.
Gage Turner in to try the extra point. Sophomore kicker. Make that junior kicker, Turner. The snap is good, the set is good, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So just like that, in the blink of an eye, it took less than 2 minutes of football time for the Red Elephants to get on the board and take the lead. 7-6 with 3:32 to play. So the alarm clock went off down there on the Gainesville sideline. A little late, Chris, but they have answered the bell, and here we go with Deshaun Watson and company showing us what they're made of, and just an onslaught of weapons. I mean, from Heyman to Turner. I mean, guys we haven't seen yet. Payne hasn't had a shot at the ball. Lahias Leverett had 1 touch. I mean, we're going to see a lot of these guys, and I really feel like with that quick strike offense, Loganville has got to be ready at the snap. Right as soon as the ball is placed, they've got to be ready to go.
Yeah, Loganville and their offense, they're really going to have to play mistake-free, and they're going to have to control. It's going to have to be a ball control, containment-type offense. Take time off the clock, move down the field, and put points on the board, because the more times you put Gainesville's offense on the field, the more chance that Gainesville has to put points on the board. And as we saw, didn't take them very long to strike.
They did go 3 and out on their first possession, but that second possession was a thing of beauty, again aided by the onside kick, which was botched. Turner's kickoff is going to be short enough to be fielded and played at the 5-yard line. Nice move to the outside. Finding some room is Braxton Beck a good return to the 36-yard line, so that will give Loganville a pretty comfortable starting position for their second possession of the football game. Pretty much the same spot they started their first possession. Chris took the ball 65 yards, and that ended up with a Merriweather run. You see Merriweather, he's fired up getting into that offensive huddle. They've got to stay up, and as you said, Chris, controlling the football, keeping it out of the hands of Watson and company has got to be the plan tonight.
The offensive line for Loganville has a very tall task because they need to control this ball game.
Showing passes, they come out with 4 wide out set. Go a little wildcat, direct snap to Merriweather, and he charges into the line up to about the 40-yard line, still fighting for yardage. And he'll go down about the 40-yard line, will be shown as forward progress. So a different look there. They had 4 wideouts, go wildcat, direct snap to Merriweather, and showing Gainesville a little different style.
And that's what you need if you're Loganville. Hey, 4 yards on first down, that's fine. You can 4 yard your way all the way down the field and put 6 on the board, but you have to be efficient and you have to be effective.
And Chris, you mentioned it. You have to be mistake-free in this one. You cannot give Gainesville any free yards. They are going to come after you on every snap of the football. Now you've got Merriweather out to the right. No one guarding him, Chris, on the top of the formation. Now they spot him. And here's Laughlin under center. Keep it on the ground this time. Not much happening. They go to Beck, and he is nailed in the backfield. Looked like Michael Pittman, first man to get there.
Yeah, Pittman, the linebacker, he came up and lined up at the defensive end spot and never was challenged. He actually met the ball carrier when he was handed the ball in a big defensive play for Gainesville.
Call it 3rd down and 6 for the Red Devils. And that offensive unit runs all the way over to the sideline to talk with Coach Eric Godfrey, Chris. No mistakes in signals there. If you're just joining us, we had an injury to Royce Harrison, the starting junior quarterback, and Laughlin has been in since then. Josh Laughlin, another junior. And Loganville's Red Devils face a 3rd down and 6. Keep it on the ground with Merriweather. Right side, carrying tacklers to the 45, and he will be stopped there. And it'll be 4th down for Loganville.
Yeah, forward progress didn't quite get the first down.
We call it about a yard, maybe a yard and a football needed for the first down out there at the 45-yard line. And let's see how Coach Godfrey wants to play this one. Looks like they're going to stay offensive here, Chris. And they sure are. Laughlin breaks the huddle. They need a yard and a half. Merriweather would be the logical choice here. And he is. And he's nailed in the backfield. Wow, somebody came in off the edge and absolutely popped him. Might have been Fred Payne. Or could have been Michael Pittman again. He's claiming the adulation there. Boy, that Merriweather looked like he had something, Chris, but he was stopped like he hit a wall. And again, a very short field for Gainesville, and that's bad news. So Loganville rolled the dice again and come up empty on 4th down and 1. And they may pay the price here, partner.
Well, they went to that right side, and what Pittman's doing is he's lining up on that side, and he's meeting the ball carrier as he comes.
Watson rolling. Now looking and throwing right down the middle of the field. Wide open is Caleb Heyman, and he's going to reach and get in just like that. 45 yards. Gainesville really showing that offensive power, Chris. Unbelievable strike. Watson with all day to throw. Not the recipe for success if you're Loganville.
And Heyman just streaked right down the middle of the field. A couple of the linebackers kind of bit when Watson rolled to the right because he's such a threat with his legs, over 700 yards and 11 touchdowns. So just that hesitation by the linebackers allowed Heyman to streak right down the middle and get wide open, and a beautiful pass and an impressive score for Gainesville.
Little trickery there. They tried the offset formation, try to run it in for 2. They're going to fail on that, so no good there. And that keeps Loganville within 7. So the point after attempt for 2 is going to fail. And Loganville will get the football back. So, Chris, Loganville did everything right. They had the football. They stayed within the chains. But the Gainesville D stepped up big behind Michael Pittman and shut it down. And if you're going to give Deshaun Watson and Gainesville 45 yards, they're going to do exactly what they did. They're going to burn you in one play with Heyman just like that.
Loganville's offense, on 2 consecutive plays, they needed 1 more block. Pittman came up to the line and made a couple of great defensive plays, including the play that gave Gainesville the ball back. I like the strategy that Loganville's trying to come with here offensively when they have the football. I'm just not sure they have the weapons, but like I said, without the weapons, it's very, very clear. Mistake-free, move the ball, get first downs, and I mentioned earlier the offensive line has to do their job. They didn't do their job on a couple of key downs before Loganville had to give the ball up.
And you cannot let Caleb Heyman run free in your secondary with Watson standing back there surveying the field. They will carve you up every time, and proved it right there. Here's Beck from the 6. Looking for room on the outside, and he is nailed again. Down there at the 25-yard line. Looked like Fred Payne met him there. Now check that, number 29, Chris Pierce on the tackle. Sophomore special teamer. So Loganville, once again, Chris, they've been within the chains. They've moved the football. They just haven't converted. So two mistakes you could point to right now for the Red Devils would be their downfall. You're going to say the botched onside kick and the failed fourth down conversion. And that's going to be enough. That has converted into 13 Gainesville points. And they go back to work. Going to be Beck this time on the option give. He might have one.
Too much penetration that time from Gainesville.
I'm going to say forward progress out to the 26-yard line, so 2nd down and 9.
Looks like Big Cash Jones on the tackle that time for the Red Devils.
The Red Devils have got to shake off the shock of what has just occurred to them in the past minute or so as we wind down to inside 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. See if Loganville wants to get a play, and they certainly will with 22 seconds. Now 20 with the clock running. They go option again on the inside. Merriweather breaks the tackle. He's going to be close to a Loganville first down. Very impressed with Merriweather, Chris. As you said, he's a hoss out there, and he's going to get the brunt of the carries and the workload and unfortunately take most of the hits for this Loganville Red Devil offense. And that's going to do it. It winds down, and the horn sounds. A rapidly moving first quarter sees Gainesville up 13-6 over Loganville. Football fans, remember, if you want to watch more of your high school's great matchups like the game you're enjoying here tonight, tell your school to sign up for PlayOnSports.com's school broadcast program. Their program allows schools to broadcast all their games and other activities on the web. For more information, go to PlayOnSports.com/SBP. We'll be back to City Park Stadium in just a moment with your score, Gainesville 13 and Loganville 6. We'll be right back. Welcome back to City Park Stadium in Gainesville, Georgia. PlayOnSports.com, Georgia High School Association football Friday night game of the week. Gainesville on top 13-6. Loganville trying to make something happen here behind backup quarterback Josh Laughlin. 3rd down and 1, trying to keep the football out of the hands of Deshaun Watson. And they go inside to Braxton Beck. And it looks like he will have just enough for the first down.
Once again, excellent penetration by Gainesville. Tackle led by number 14, Quamon Peoples.
And that will move the chains for the Loganville Red Devils. Homecoming night here in Gainesville. Happy to have everyone with us. A full house on the Gainesville side and a good traveling crowd for Loganville, too. Made the ride up from Walton County. 1st down and 10. Pro set this time for the Red Devils with motion behind the quarterback. Looking to throw down the field. Alencio Graham has got it, beats double coverage, and just like that, Loganville is back in this thing. Chris, I don't know what to say, buddy. Loganville is not going to lay down for anybody here tonight. They have made that point crystal clear.
Laughlin had enough time to throw the football. The receiver did a great job of concentrating on the football, and it looked like the cornerback and the safety, they both kind of looked up at the ball and just kind of watched it go over their head. A last jaunt effort by the safety was for naught. It fell right into the hands of the receiver. A beautiful play for Loganville.
And a nice throw by the junior quarterback. Now Loganville an extra point away from tying this up. Good snap, good set. The kick is up. And this time the kick is good. So in the blink of an eye, Chris, 23 seconds to be exact, Loganville has tied this thing up. We're at 13 all.
And Kevin, you can't really say that was a surprise. I mean, it was a surprise that Loganville put that ball up in the air, but there were two defenders back there for Gainesville. One of the two, if not both of them, could have easily deflected that ball. Neither one of them played the ball very well. They didn't take a good angle, and I'm very impressed with the concentration of the receiver.
That ball had a lot of air under it, and as you said, Chris, it seemed like it had enough time for double coverage to get there and make some sort of play on the football, and it just didn't happen. So all things considered here, we've got ourselves a football game. The Red Devils coming in trying to spoil homecoming night at City Park. Trey Harrison back deep to receive, along with Fred Payne. And I think you could probably describe this crowd as stunned right now, partner. Not a whole lot of noise or a whole lot of activity as far as excitement is concerned on this Gainesville side of the football field.
The Loganville defense is going to have to stiffen up and play a little bit better because they cannot play touchdown for touchdown with Gainesville.
Payne driven into the end zone. Good kick by Flynn. And for the first time tonight, it looks like Gainesville is going to have to go the distance from their own 20-yard line. So let's see how they answer, Chris. They look like they have this thing well in hand with Deshaun Watson hitting Heyman, making it look very easy to get into the end zone. But back came Loganville with a taste of their own medicine on the long pass play. So Watson and company go to work. 1st and 10 from their 20. Just underway second quarter, tied at 13. Watson on the option. He's going to keep it, work his way through the middle, dragging tacklers out toward first down yardage. And he's going to be very close. It looks like it's going to be second down and about a foot.
Senior linebacker Jake Schweffler on the tackle that time for Loganville.
Second down and about a half a football. And it looks like we had movement left side. So instead of 2nd and inches, Gainesville digs himself a little bit of a hole here. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Got to maintain their composure here, Chris. It's like a heavyweight prize fighter coming in as the favored puncher and getting knocked to the canvas early, trying to shake the cobwebs off.
They're really wanting to get back up to the line of scrimmage really fast and run that play quickly, but you've got to be efficient.
Again, they go option to the inside. And give it to Michael Bird. He's got a couple. He gets most of the penalty back. It'll be 3rd down, and we'll call it 2, a long 1.5. And as you said, Chris, right back up to the line of scrimmage come the Red Elephants. On 3rd down and 2, here's Watson. He fakes the ball to Bird, now breaks outside with plenty of space to run. And a herd of tacklers come and get him at the 45-yard line. So Deshaun Watson putting the Red Elephants on his shoulders. And he's going to have first down yardage out to the 46-yard line.
Good job by the interior of the defense that time for Loganville. It's just that the athletic ability of Watson is second to none when it comes to situations like that. He was able to regain his composure, bounce to the outside, keep his balance, as a matter of fact, and go for the big first down.
It's like Danny Flores shaking up on the play. The offensive lineman's 5'9", 252 pounds of him. Comes bouncing off the field. It's like a cramp for him. Going to go on the toss inside. Michael Bird met in the backfield. Big defensive play, and flags fly.
May have been a handful of face masks, possibly.
Evan Messer, we talked about him at the Open, Chris. He's a guy who's really carried this Loganville defense this year. And he was not fooled at all by that one. And this one looks like it is going to go against Loganville, unfortunately. And it's going to be a face mask call against Loganville. So a free 15 there, and they can ill afford to gift wrap 15 yards at a time to Deshaun Watson and company. And that'll be first down at the 42-yard line. And just like that, they're ready to go.
Tough break that time for Loganville. Messer looked like he had position to make the tackle without grabbing the face mask.
After the walk-off, they're at the 42 of Loganville. Watson looking to throw with plenty of time. He's going to check down. with plenty of time. Trey Harrison and room to run. He's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Nice job of taking what the defense gave him there, Chris. Had Harrison just over the line of scrimmage there on the fly, and Harrison with some good yardage. That'll be another Red Elephant first down.
Once again, plenty of time for the quarterback.
All alone in the backfield this time. Watson with 5 wide receivers. And they're going to go outside on the flanker screen again. Plenty of room to run. Michael Bird almost broke that one. And he's down to the 18-yard line. Another quick strike play. And that'll be another first down for the Red Elephants. 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. We are tied at 13. Gainesville on the move. Unbalanced formation this time. Watson, flanker screen to the outside. Again they go. This is Harrison. And he'll dance out of bounds at about the 12, call it the 14-yard line where he stepped out of bounds initially. Chris, this is just a relentless approach by this offense. They are just not taking their foot off the gas at all.
They're taking advantage of a soft secondary. The DBs are giving their receivers at least 6 or 7 yards.
Harrison all alone in the backfield looking for a corner, and he's going to lose yardage back to the 22-yard line. Great pursuit. Devontae Belk, first man to meet him there, but they read that fantastic. Great job on the outside by the Loganville defense that time.
A pretty good play and a big third down conversion here for the Loganville defense.
And that loss really puts them behind the chains here. 3rd down and 13 from the 22.
You've got to have a couple of spies that are watching Watson. You have to.
Watson looking to throw. Now he's going to dump this one off. Short hop, but caught. Bird is in. Michael Bird, Chris, I thought he short hopped that ball, scooped it off his shoe tops, and just like that, they were unfazed by 3rd and 14, Chris. Very confident of offense over there for Gainesville.
And a very athletic play for Bird, but on the other side, poor tackling that time for Loganville.
I really thought he short hopped that part. It looked like it.
There were about 3 or 4 white jerseys that had a chance to tackle Michael Bird, but give him credit. He eluded the tackles, eluded the defense, and got into the end zone.
Turner in for the extra point. Looks like a little more conventional approach than last time for Gainesville. Looking to make it 20-13 with the point. It's up, and it is good. And that caps an 80-yard drive for the Red Elephants and makes it 20-13 with 9:10 to play in the second quarter. So, Chris, almost a casual approach by Deshaun Watson back there. No one even giving him any pressure in the backfield. Had all day to look downfield, then he dumps it off to Bird, and Bird just sprinted through the defensive secondary.
You know, maybe a situation for Loganville, they just may want to just pin their ears back and come after Watson and just take your chances. They've shown that they can obviously move the ball and score on the short field. They had the entire field to move that time and didn't have any problems. Had a hiccup here or there. Loganville got in there, and as I said, that particular touchdown, that was as much poor tackling as it was the athletic ability of Michael Bird. Loganville has to wrap up basic tackling. One of the things that you have to stay on. Like I said, got to play mistake-free. And the mistakes that time is they didn't make their tackles.
And that 15-yard face mask penalty when they had the ball carrier in the backfield, that erased a great defensive play by Messer and really gave Gainesville a new life in that drive. And here's Turner with a low bouncing line drive this time. It's going to be Taylor Boss looking for room, and he's wrapped up at the 22, and I think we're going to have a face mask tacked onto that one, Chris. That tackle was very high around the head.
Yeah, Kaven Hopkins came in and made the tackle that time for Gainesville, and it's either going to be maybe a face mask or I don't know if they have the horse collar rule in high school football.
We're about to find out, but either way, it did come in at the end. Personal foul, it is going to be a face mask, Chris, so another 15, and that will give Loganville very nice starting position for this possession. Trailing by 7, 20-13. They will go to work at their own 37-yard line. Two very different approaches here tonight. Gainesville is looking to run up and down the field and try to hit their average of 45 points. Loganville more ball control, but they're going to have to do something about Deshaun Watson and company to stay in this one. They go Wildcat this time. Nothing happening there. Tony White, the senior wide receiver, took the snap. And that was the give on the inside to Braxton Beck. That's about the 40-yard line before he stopped after a gain of 3. Showing him all kinds of different looks out there on offense. Here comes Josh Laughlin.
I'm going to try to get a report, if I can, at halftime on Royce Harrison.
See, Royce, he's walking it off, Chris, on the far sideline. You can see him just kind of walking up and down behind the bench. So that's good news that he's not limping back there. We'll see if Royce can get back in the football game. They go option this time. Laughlin keeps it, and he's going to rumble across midfield and be brought down at the 42-yard line. So good play action there. Good read on the option, Chris. Kept his eye on that linebacker. The linebacker stayed home. He kept the football and did a nice job on the read option down to the 42.
And used his running back, Bernard Merriweather, as a decoy perfectly, as you said. Just when the defense bit, took the ball, knocked to the outside, got a big gain on first down.
So we're seeing ground and pound from the Red Devils, and we're seeing wide open from the Red Elephants here. Two very different philosophies, but we've got ourselves a ball game. Just under 8 minutes to play until halftime. Laughlin back in the shotgun. Option to Merriweather. Merriweather bounces off a couple of tacklers and makes something out of nothing down to the 36-yard line.
You know, he's got such a low center of gravity. He weighs over 200 pounds, and he's just 5'9", 5'10". It's tough to get your hands around him.
And he is up to speed when he hits the hole, Chris. Very impressive that he gets that thing moving, that big body rumbling toward the line of scrimmage before contact. So Loganville not backing down at all, trying to answer the 80-yard drive of the Red Elephants a moment ago. Still plenty of time, approaching 7 minutes to play in the half. Laughlin now, 4 wideouts. Merriweather behind him. And it'll be Merriweather this time. Bounces off tacklers to the right side with some room. Breaks the tackle at the 15, gets knocked out of bounds at the 10. Boy, Chris, he is tough to bring down. So Brandon Merriweather keeping the Red Devils in this thing, and they are a ground and pound attack and showing it here tonight.
And Kevin, the opposite that particular time, instead of Laughlin keeping the ball, he saw where Merriweather had room to the outside, and Merriweather just used his rumbling speed for another huge gain for Loganville.
He is strong, Chris, but when he gets into the open field, he can really turn it on. And he showed that burst there on the outside, and the Red Devils are in business inside the red zone. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 14. Braxton Beck in there as the lone setback with Josh Laughlin. 4 wideouts for Laughlin, and he's going to keep it a straight QB draw.
Good gain.
And he's going to have yardage inside the 10-yard line, so they move the pile just inside the 10-yard line. They're going to spot it right on the 10. And it'll be 2nd down and about 6.
So, Kevin, maybe my assessment of the quarterbacks was a little inaccurate. Josh Laughlin maybe a little bit more fleet of foot.
Shown good strength working there between the tackles, though, partner. He really put his head down and carried that pile a couple yards to make something out of nothing for the Red Devils. Again, they go 3 wide out set for Laughlin and keep Braxton Beck as the lone setback. So Harrison goes out with an injury, but they haven't missed a beat with Laughlin coming in. A high snap is fielded by Laughlin, and he gives it to Beck. Beck is going to break tackles and get in. Touchdown, Loganville. 10 yards for Braxton Beck, right up the middle.
Very impressive. I was going to say that most of that drive was done right between the tackles. Nothing fancy, just right up the middle. Loganville running it right at this very potent Gainesville defense. And with a PAT, we're right back where we started, Kevin.
So here we go. A point after ties this thing up. Matt Flynn, the senior kicker, in. The snap is good. The set is good. And the kick is good as well. With 6:07 to play in the half, Chris, Loganville has eclipsed their season average for points per game of 18.5. It's 20-20 here at City Park Stadium.
Well, no one thought that Loganville would go toe-to-toe offensively with the Gainesville offense. We knew Gainesville came in averaging 45 points a game, and Gainesville may be well on their way to 45 points, but the shock is Loganville's right there with them offensively. Now, once again, I still say if Loganville wants to stay in this ball game and have a chance to pull off the upset, their defense is going to have to stiffen just a little bit. And I say that up here in this box. I'm not down there trying to face this potent Gainesville offense, but you know, the longer they stay in the game, the more confidence they get, and anything's possible.
And Chris, Gainesville's doing everything they want to do. I mean, they're scoring every time they get the football, the first possession notwithstanding. But here comes Loganville right back at them. We are knotted at 20 with 6 minutes to play in the half. And Gainesville will go back on offense. Very impressed by Loganville's offense here tonight. And by looking at the stats, Chris, on paper, this one didn't have a chance of being 20-20 with 6 minutes to play until halftime. But that's why we have such great excitement on Friday Night Football. Low knuckling line drive is going to be eventually picked up down at the 10 by Fred Payne. Payne has room. Kicker to beat. Sheds the kicker. Straight arms a tackler at the 40 and will be dragged down at the 35-yard line. Hunter Scruggs, a touchdown-saving tackle. So Fred Payne with a nice job there to get the Gainesville side crowd fired back up, Chris. They've been very, very quiet here tonight. And here comes Watson.
And that's the last thing you wanted to happen if you're Loganville, is to go and give their momentum right back to the home team.
And not only momentum, Chris, a 35-yard field to work with. Here's Watson. Little Statue of Liberty at Harrison. Now Harrison wants to throw it. He does. He heaves up a knuckleball, ill-advised. And that is going to bounce at the 12-yard line. Chris, a push in the back there could have easily been offensive pass interference. Heyman down there just shoved the defensive player in the back as that ball was heading toward them. That could have very easily gone against Gainesville for pass interference. Surprised they didn't call that one.
And Kevin, I tip my hat for the attempted play, but Trey Harrison, he's running to the right and he's left-handed. So he had to square up and try to throw that ball, and that was fortunate for Gainesville that wasn't intercepted.
A little more conventional this time. Watson with plenty of room to throw. Goes to the outside. Got Jay Godlock. And Godlock breaks tackles. He's loose on the sideline. They will not catch Jay Godlock.
There's that soft secondary I was talking about. Too much room, Kevin. Too much room.
And Chris, I was just about to say we hadn't seen Jay Godlock touch the football here tonight. And just like that, they went with the little flea flicker. That didn't work. They go conventional. Watson with plenty of time finds Godlock. He sheds a tackler. And one of the fastest guys on the football field is not going to be run down. And just like that, Gainesville back on top. In the blink of an eye, Chris, about 35 seconds to go, 35 yards.
8 to 10 yards between the nearest defender before the play even starts. And then when Godlock gets the ball, he just takes one step to the outside. And as you mentioned, Kevin, used his speed. And quickly, Gainesville regains a lead.
Kick is up, and the kick is good. So that makes it 27-20 with 5:32 to play until halftime, Chris. I think we came for a football game, but a basketball game is broken out here. Up and down the court we go. Gainesville has their full complement of timeouts. Loganville has used one. They have 2 remaining. So each team basically answering with different styles, Chris. Quick strike for Gainesville. And that ground and pound, as we have said, with Merriweather, has been working just fine for Loganville. Don't break it if it's not broken.
Kevin, the key for Loganville's offense right now is to keep it going. They've got 5.5 minutes to go until halftime. They could very well put a drive together that could eat up the entire clock here, try to put 6 or maybe even 3 on the board before halftime, and I believe Loganville does get the ball to start the second half.
Correct. They did defer until the second half. So Turner will tee it up. And a good return would work right into the recipe for Loganville as they get set to take this ball in the final 5:32 of the second quarter. It's going to be Beck at the 4. He's got room up this near sideline. He cuts it in, and he's going to drag tacklers to the 39, and that right on cue, Chris. A good return for Loganville. And they will have 61 yards to go to try to tie this one up.
Beck could have got 1 or 2 more steps forward, as you mentioned, on this near side. He had a lot of room, and he had a bunch of white jerseys over there. But still, a good gain. Puts a lot of green behind the offense. As I mentioned, plenty of time on the clock. No mistakes. Move the football down the field and do what you can late.
So, Chris, if you had to sum it up so far, both offenses doing what they have to do, but we haven't seen much defense here tonight. Direct snap to Merriweather, tries that left side, not much happening. He might have 2 and get across the 40 to the 41, and that's going to be about it. So they start with Wildcat.
And we mentioned earlier, and we've seen so many times earlier in the game and previous games, those linebackers, Michael Pittman, he is so quick in there. He is always in there making tackles, one of the leading tacklers on the field for Gainesville. And
keep your eye on Jadarius Sosby, too, Chris. We've called his name a couple of times. 5'10", 220, just a sophomore, a real emerging star on the defensive side for the Red Elephants. He anchors the middle of that Gainesville D. 2nd and 8 for Laughlin. Going to give it to Beck this time, going left side. And he'll get to the 45. And that will be it for him. So a 3rd down and call it 4.5 coming up for Loganville. Chris, they've worked within the chains, but this is the time when they've got to find a way to hold on to the football. You cannot afford to get too far behind Gainesville. I mean, so far, a perfect scenario out there for Loganville. They're in this football game approaching halftime. You do not want to gift wrap anything for Gainesville on homecoming night. Call it 3rd and 4.
Successful so far for Loganville has been up the middle. There's too much speed on the outside for Gainesville, so I say just try your luck between the tackles again.
Laughlin with Merriweather. They go option. He gives to Merriweather. Ball is out and scooped up. On his way to the end zone is Brenquez Dukes. Touchdown, Gainesville. Chris, the mistake they could ill afford to make, they went ahead and made it. Gift wrapped 6 points for Gainesville. Brenquez Dukes, Johnny on the spot. Merriweather fighting for extra yardage, and the ball was ripped out, and they could not pounce on it.
And other than a couple of penalties, that's the first real mistake as in turnover we've seen in the ball game, and it came. They're never in a good time, but it came at a really bad time for Loganville as they were trying to convert 3rd and mediocre and try to keep the drive alive to go down and try to put something on the board here at the end of the first half. But instead, a great defensive play, a stripped ball.
Strip and a scoop.
Yeah, good job by
Brenquez Dukes in there.
Dukes. Yeah, and he went down there, and all of a sudden it could be a 14-point game.
Here's Turner to try to make it a 14-point lead. And we're going to have a false start. Looks like encroachment by Loganville. And Chris, we just said it a moment ago, you cannot gift wrap points for Gainesville when you only average 18 a game on the season. And Loganville has done just that. Good news, Chris, they will get the football to start the second half. However, we've got 3:49 to play in the second quarter, and Gainesville has shown they don't need but about 8 seconds to put points on the board. So we may not have seen the last scoring of this first half. Turner's kick is up, and it's good. So a 3:49 to play. It's 34-20. The Red Elephants on top.
And Kevin, it's been as much as what Gainesville has done as what Loganville hasn't done. And one of the things that Loganville's defense has not done is they have not slowed down this Gainesville offense. Now, granted, Gainesville has had different lines of scrimmage to start from, but when you come into this game, when you come into a game like this and you're such an underdog, all facets of the game have to click at the same time. And I wouldn't say a perfect game, but you've got to play as close to a perfect game as possible. And I guess up until that point, Loganville was holding their own. They were doing something that we didn't think they were going to be able to do. That's go blow to blow with Gainesville, one of the highest scoring teams in the state of Georgia. But then you get a penalty. You get a turnover like that, and that totally changes the complex of the ball game.
Second highest scoring team in the state. And Chris, you get the feeling and the impression that Gainesville thinks and believes that they can score every time they snap the football. And that's bad news for Loganville, coming in averaging just 19 points per game. A short kick is going to be fielded at the 22-yard line, so this will give Loganville a pretty good starting position as they get set to go back to work. Clark Califf, the junior DB, pounced on that little bouncing line drive, and Loganville will go to work with pretty good field position to start this possession. 3:49 to play until halftime. 34-20, Gainesville on top. So let's see if Gainesville can find an answer. They certainly did last time with the turnover, strip, and scoop for a touchdown. But that was the first time that they've shown any kind of resistance to Loganville. And when you can scoop it and score, that's pretty good resistance.
And Royce Harrison continues to be on the sidelines, the starting quarterback for Loganville.
Back to work they go. 1st and 10 from their own 30. Here are the Red Devils another time. Merriweather into the center pile, and he'll get a couple out to about the 32. And, Chris, we do see Royce Harrison over there with that, looks like that ankle heavily taped up. We might see him in the second half, but right now Laughlin doing a pretty nice job in his stead running this Loganville O.
And, Kevin, another thing that quick turnover and touchdown did for Gainesville, and it gave their defense sort of a second wind and a breath of fresh air because they're like, okay, now we got a little room to play with. We can be a little bit more aggressive and maybe fill the gaps and go after the quarterback.
And they scored points. Anytime a defense scores points for their team, it's a big uplifting situation. That option went absolutely nowhere. Nothing happening in the backfield that time for Beck. And that's going to be timeout Gainesville, Chris, with 2:53 to play until halftime. 3rd down and 10 for Loganville. So you've got to think that Coach Miller is going to try to get this football back and maybe put this one out of reach before we go to the halftime whistle.
That was a great penetration that time. Damian Grayson, one of the senior defensive linemen, went in there and took care of that play. And Kevin, as you mentioned, it's funny. What, 8 minutes ago, not even 8 minutes ago, it was 20-20. And we were talking about how Loganville was staying with them. And not that they're out of the ball game, but this 3rd down conversion is huge. And the last time they had a huge 3rd down conversion, it turned into a turnover and a quick score for Gainesville. So what Loganville wants to do is they want to go over there. They want to draw off the best play they can. And hopefully they can get a 1st down and keep this ball, because if they don't keep this ball, it doesn't take Gainesville long to put points on the board.
And Loganville is not a team built to come from behind, Chris. They are just not designed that way. As we've documented, they have already eclipsed their season average of points per game, coming in averaging 18.5. They've got 20 on the board now against Gainesville, but Gainesville averaging 45. And if they get too far ahead, Loganville may not have the horses to get back into this one. Here's Laughlin to throw. We got flags before the snap. And we'll see which way this one goes.
There's a little movement on the defensive line, but we'll see if it was
That's going to be a false start against the Red Devils. So instead of a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15 is what they face. Again, Loganville with 2 timeouts, Gainesville with 2 timeouts. Big point in the ball game right now for the Red Devils. 3rd and 15. They need to keep this football. Laughlin to throw, firing over the middle. Is going to be incomplete. Receiver did not turn around looking for him. Looked like Taylor Boss was the intended man, but did not turn around. And the coach over there on the far side, Eric Godfrey, is incensed, slamming the headset to the ground, giving it to the referee on the far sideline. Absolutely wearing him out. It'll be 4th down, and Loganville has got to punt this football away.
Looked like the receiver just turned the opposite direction. I think the quarterback thought he was going to turn to the left, and he actually turned to the right. And Kevin, we just found out that we've got on one of the national networks, we have 2 of the top high school teams in the state and in the nation playing, and we'll give you an update on that game in just a minute.
Trey Harrison fields it at his own 43. Jukes a couple of tacklers and a straight arm, and he'll go down at his own 47-yard line. A little late action there, and coach is on the near side looking for a flag there, so both coaches working the referees here tonight. All right, Chris, 2:35 with 2 timeouts, and as we talked about it, I don't think Gainesville's had a drive that's lasted more than about 45 seconds here that hasn't ended in a touchdown. So this is a very dangerous situation for Loganville right now.
Well, we said they average about 45 points a game, but we also know they could put 63 up on the board, which they did in our previous broadcast against Appalachia, and the previous week before that against Barrow, they put 69 on the board. So they are very high-powered.
They're halfway home to something like that happening here. Watson, they go with that Statue of Liberty again. Give it to Michael Bird, cuts it back inside. Flags flying as Bird breaks loose on the near sideline. Remember, we've got flags on the play as Bird outraces everyone into the end zone. Flags back at the line of scrimmage, and this may come back. That flag lands right in the spot where holding would occur, and it looks like it is coming back on the Statue of Liberty play. So Michael Bird, a nice effort there, but it will not count.
And Kevin, you see a lot of holding penalties called behind the play. I think that one was right at the point that allowed Bird to make his cut to the left side and get down the sideline. So a very good call for the officials. So Gainesville they just line up and they reload almost.
They don't seem to be too dismayed by these big penalties, Chris. And you were mentioning Lowndes and Camden. We've got a score there.
Yeah, they're 2 of the top teams in the state of Georgia, and I believe they're both ranked nationally, and they're currently on one of the national networks, and it's Lowndes 7, Camden County 0 in the first quarter.
Big play here, first down and 20 for Gainesville. Still plenty of time for the Red Elephants. 2:23 to play until halftime. 2 timeouts for Gainesville. Here's Watson. Blitz coming. He steps up inside it. Now fires to the outside. Here's Michael Bird once again. Replay that last one down the near sideline. Different result this time, but it is a first down. So, Chris, they don't seem to be too intimidated by long down and distance on that Gainesville sideline.
You can't cover everyone. You'd like to think you can, but there are 6 or 7 numbers out there that you have to be concerned about because any of them can take the ball and beat you at any moment in the ballgame.
And, Chris, with this no huddle, they are really asking a lot of that Loganville defense to be ready every time Watson steps up and snaps the football. Now he fires near side. It's going to be incomplete. Looking for Lahias Leverett at the 35. Be second down and 10. Clock stops with 2:09 to play.
And Kevin, on the previous play, Loganville definitely, they brought everybody. They blitzed, but the offensive line for Gainesville held their own. The tight end stayed in and laid a block, and one of the receivers stayed in and laid a block.
Loganville only coming with 3, now 4 men. Dump it off to the near side. Here's Michael Bird. He's loose on the check down. Lowers his head at the 30, and he'll have room down to the 28-yard line. Head-to-head contact right there. And looked like Bird came out on the top, getting that first down.
Who's watching Michael Bird? I mean, there's no reason for this kid to be that open that many times. Every time he's touched the ball the last 2 or 3 times, he's had 12 yards in front of him before the nearest white jersey comes up.
Those guys on the defensive side have got to be gassed right now. Here's Watson to throw another time. And looked like the receiver slowed down, looking for Trey Harrison on the far sideline. Looked like he's running a skinny post over there. Looked like he stopped. But Watson threw the ball anyway. That'll stop the clock. Second down and 10 from the 28-yard line.
And Kevin Watson had a lot of juice on that throw. He had a lot of juice. He might have been better off putting it up and trying to catch Harrison in the corner that time.
Rodney Lackey is the man in the slot to Watson's right. Hadn't seen Lackey touch the ball yet tonight. Second down and 10. Watson with plenty of time to throw in a 4-man rush. Fires over the middle. And right on cue, there is Rodney Lackey. And that'll be very close to a Gainesville first down. One of the favorite receivers of Deshaun Watson all season long is Rodney Lackey.
He came into the game leading in receptions for Gainesville.
Just a sophomore, Chris, 5'10". Make that 5'9", 150 pounds of him.
647 yards and 11 touchdowns coming into the ballgame.
Good hands, and as you said, he is one of Deshaun Watson's favorite targets in a very full arsenal over there for the Red Elephants offense. Good enough for a measurement on the reception by Lackey. And it looks like the nose of the football will get them a first down. Now, Chris, watch how quickly Gainesville's ready to go. As soon as those guys get those chains off the field, Watson is going to want that football. Just a relentless, merciless style of offense as far as the defense is concerned. They cannot get lined up. They just get gassed.
And he spread the offense out so much, it may be time for him to tuck and run the ball.
Bird, the lone setback, and Watson wants to throw another time. Over the middle, and he's got a man wide open. Oren Ragland, he breaks tackles down to the 4, so everybody getting into the act. First time we've seen Oren Ragland in the game, the 5'11", 160-pound sophomore. Good catch there as he went across the formation behind the linebackers.
And Kevin
Watson found him.
He's showing why he's one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Georgia in passing yards, over 2,100 coming into this game.
Very patient. And there's Michael Bird. He gets the payback, Chris, and he's in the end zone almost untouched up the middle. And that will make it 40-20 with about 1:06 to play.
And, Kevin, you don't want to call it too easy, but that looked like it could have been a little tougher. I guess I should say it that way.
And, Chris, if you look at the body language of the Loganville defense, hands on hips, those guys have just been walking backwards, chasing ball carriers.
Kevin, it all started with the turnover.
It really took the wind out of the sails over there for the Red Devils, and now they are in big trouble. And this extra point will make it 3 touchdowns, the deficit. Turner's kick is up, and it is good. So with 1:06 to play, Chris, I didn't think we'd seen the last of the scoring, and indeed I was correct. 41-20, getting ready to reach halftime and homecoming activities here at City Park Stadium. 1:06 to play. Partner, you got to think if Gainesville gets their hands on that football again, they could take it in.
61 points in the first half, and let's face it, most people felt if you had 61 points on the board in the first half. 50 plus could possibly be for Gainesville. Taking nothing against Loganville, but it just gave the incredible quick strike ability of the Gainesville offense. Loganville early on was holding their own, took advantage of a break that was given to them. Had a nice long pass for a touchdown.
But you said it, Chris. They could not afford to make one mistake or put one wheel wrong, to use the racing vernacular, and they did. And Gainesville has absolutely jumped on them. Both teams right now approaching their season averages for points, and we still got a minute to play until halftime. Another short hopper. That's going to be Braxton Beck finally corralling it at about his 8-yard line. Cuts it back inside. He'll go down at the 25-yard line. Nice tackle there by Alex Muckle. So 59.5 to play until halftime. Let's see what Loganville likes to go with. Chris, we have not seen a Loganville offense that's built to come back, and now they're down by 3 touchdowns.
With a minute to go and you've got 1 timeout, you may want to cut your losses at this point.
What you don't want to do is give up the football and send your defense back out onto the field before halftime. You've got to give those guys a breather for the next minute or so and the halftime.
And if I'm Gainesville, I've got 2 timeouts, and I burn them if I have to.
Laughlin to throw. Now he steps up and decides to tuck it under. And that is going to be up to about the 31-yard line.
Devin Stringer on the tackle that time.
Second down and 5. First no-huddle look for Loganville. They're going to bounce this to the outside on the flanker screen.
Great coverage.
Looking for Lencio Graham. Nothing happening there. And the clock will continue to run now. 25 seconds to play. Loganville still with 2 timeouts. And, Chris, I think you're right. They're going to cut their losses and just get into that halftime locker room and try to regroup somehow. Laughlin to throw again. Looking over the middle, and he's got a man at the 50-yard line. Mitchell Webb. Now, I think I'd go with a timeout here. That'll stop the clock to move the chains. But, Chris, how about that? Showing some effective passing game.
And Loganville's kicker looked like he had a pretty good foot. Now
They're going to use a timeout here, Chris. That'll leave them with 1 and 8.5 to play. 1 timeout remaining for Loganville. 8.5 seconds. Nice job there to get open and make something happen by Mitchell Webb, the senior flanker.
So you can run a quick out pattern, maybe to the sideline, try to get a few more yards and let your kicker try to kick it from 45 to 48 yards.
Maybe take a chance down the end zone. Half can't end on a defensive penalty. Maybe get your kicker a little closer there. Maybe even come up with something. We've seen stranger things here tonight.
You could come up with a 12 to 15-yard play in the middle of the field and get up and spike the ball. That would be kind of close. You'd really have to get up there and spike that ball probably with about 1.5 to 2 seconds left on the clock. But at least Loganville has given themselves some options at this point, Kevin.
Gainesville 41, Loganville 20. 8.5 seconds to play until halftime. 1 timeout remaining for the Red Devils. 2 wideouts to the top for Laughlin. Let's see what they go with out of the timeout. Extra protection. Laughlin to throw. Was looking back shoulder for Taylor Boss. Boss did not turn around, and it's incomplete. 4.1 seconds to play.
Ball thrown a little short that time, but
I think he expected Boss to stop there on that back shoulder throw, and Boss just kept running on the fly. He never looked back for the football. And that will be the 3rd and final timeout taken by Loganville with 4.1 to play.
At this point, 4 seconds left. Either you bring your kicker in if you think he can put it through from 58, or you just try your luck in the end zone.
Could be Hail Mary time. 4.1, about enough time to have 1 long pass pattern. Loganville out of timeouts. Want to remind everybody to stick around for homecoming activities here at City Park Stadium. A very nice night for football. A little chill in the air, a little crisp. Absolutely no breeze to speak of. And it feels like a Friday night for football, partner.
Camden County on the board, 7-7 versus Lowndes.
That's after 1.
Battle of South Georgia powerhouses, national powerhouses.
And it looks like the Red Elephants defense is going to go ahead and play prevent/punt return formation on this one. Put the Good Hands team back there at the goal line. Now we'll see what Laughlin and crew come out of the timeout with. Boy, what a lift it would be to try to finally make something happen here at the death. Bunch formation to the top, which should be the final play of the first half. Here's Laughlin to throw, max protection. Now he's in trouble, going to have to run for his life on the near side. Breaks the tackle. The clock has expired. This will do it for the first half, and Laughlin's going to be knocked out of bounds, and that will do it. So a good effort there. Pass play never really came to fruition for them, and they'll go to the halftime, 41-20, Gainesville on top. Football fans want to remind you that Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, where we give you news and information and links to all the great highlights of Friday night action. You can follow us anytime on Play On Sports on Facebook and Twitter, and also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. That'll send us to halftime at City Park Stadium in Gainesville with your score, the Red Elephants 41, the Red Devils 20. We'll be right back.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful. We're coming in on 1. For more information on how your school can join the Play On School broadcast program, go to playonsports.com/SBP. We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want
Order forms are on the GHS website. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the GHS Football Homecoming 2012 and the 120th anniversary of Gainesville High School. We are proud of the Red Elephant tradition and pleased to have returning alumni with us. If you're a Gainesville High graduate, would you please stand? We appreciate your continued support of the Gainesville City School System. At this time, please look to the center of the field for the presentation of the 2012 Gainesville High School Homecoming Court presented by Gainesville High School Navy JROTC Sword Detail commanded by Sergeant Jack Reese and Commander Corey Brown. The Sword Detail includes Tyler Kinsey, Dylan Martin, Hai Tran, Abel Reyes, Tony Tran, and Jennifer Reyes. We'll begin with the freshman class representative, Miss Anna Oropeza. Anna is the daughter of Alejandro and Beth Oropeza. She's escorted by her father. Anna is a member of the band, the Key Club, the student council, where she is the freshman class treasurer. She's also a part of our track team. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Anna Orapiza. The sophomore class represented is Miss Georgia Summer. Georgia is the daughter of Daniel and Chandel Summer. She is escorted tonight by her father. Georgia is on the yearbook staff here at GHS. She's also part of both the tennis team and the swim team. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Georgia Summer. The junior class representative is Miss Meg Callahan. Meg is the daughter of Michael and Janine Callahan. She is escorted tonight by her father. Meg is a member of the Key Club and of the yearbook staff here at GHS. She is also a part of the defending state champion varsity women's golf team. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Meg Callahan. The first homecoming queen candidate tonight is Miss Roxana Garcia. Roxana is the daughter of Raimundo and Blanca Garcia. She's escorted tonight by her father. Roxanne is a member of the FBLA, Hope, and the Key Club. She is also a member of the Westminster Presbyterian Church. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Roxanne Garcia. The second homecoming queen candidate is Miss Kiki Hayes. Kiki is the daughter of Ramon Jenkins and Lakeisha Hayes. She's escorted tonight by her father. Kiki is a varsity football cheerleader and a member of the Key Club. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kiki Hayes. The third homecoming queen candidate is Miss Maggie Hood. Maggie is the daughter of Hap Hood and Beth Weichel. She's escorted tonight by her father. Maggie is a varsity football cheerleading captain and a member of the track and field team. She's a part of the United Way fundraiser and is on the yearbook staff at GHS. Maggie is also the student council treasurer. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Maggie Hood. The fourth homecoming queen candidate is Miss Madeline Maney. Madeline is the daughter of Steve and Beth Maney. She's escorted tonight by her father. Madeline is a member of the Key Club, Beta Club, National Honor Society, and is a senior class student council representative. She is also a member of both First Baptist Church of Gainesville and the Gainesville Ballet Company. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Madeline Maney. The fifth homecoming queen candidate is Miss Martha McKinnon. Martha is the daughter of Graham and Priscilla McKinnon. She's escorted tonight by her father. Martha is a member of both the varsity tennis team and the varsity swim team. She is also co-editor of the Chief of the yearbook staff, Senior Class Vice President, and Beta Club Vice President. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Martha McKinnon. Congratulations to all these beautiful, outstanding young ladies. And now the moment you've been waiting for. We are proud to welcome back the 2011 Homecoming Queen, Miss Alexis Hawks. Alexis is the daughter of Mark and Sandra Hawks. Mrs. Larissa Larkin, the principal of Gainesville High School. And Alexis Hawks will now crown the 2012 Homecoming Queen, Miss Roxana Garcia. Congratulations. We would like to thank all of you who came out to the homecoming parade yesterday to cheer on the Big Red family. We would like to give a shout out to the future educators of America and everyone else for their floats and general participation. The winner of the GHS class float competition was the junior class float with a theme of winning tradition. The second place was the sophomores. Third place, the seniors. And fourth place, the freshmen. Congratulations and go Big Red.
.3:16 left to go in this ball game. I formation, 3rd and 3 from the 45 of the Wolverines. And this time, holy cow! Dion almost hands it to the Westview player. He's going to run this to the 5-10. Touchdown, Wolverines! How did that happen? That was
Snyder.
Holy cow! He was in the backfield before the running back could even get the handoff. He took the handoff from
He
Dion.
took the ball right out of Dion's hands and just
Holy cow!
can't say I've seen that one very often.
Snyder comes shooting in from the A-gap. I think Dion froze when he saw him. He's ready to hand off to his running back. He froze when he saw him and just let him have the ball. 12 seconds to go.
Oh, you could hear a pin drop.
5, 4, 3, 2. Get the snap off. Last play of the game. Brewster rolls right. Gets away from 2 sacks. Dons wins. Sack at the 20-yard line. What a game.
And number 40, Lucas Zinder with the game-saving sack. And there is heartbreak on one sideline and a jubilation on another.
Offset eye for the Grizzlies as Keeney takes it under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch back to Bird on the sweep. Bird finds a seam. He might go, folks. 20, 15, 10. Drags a tackler. Touchdown! Bird goes 38 yards for the touchdown on the sweep. One more snap is all it's going to take, and there you have it, folks. Your 2011 Division I Sac Joaquin section champions, the Granite Bay Grizzlies, as they defeat Pleasant Grove 30-24.
Jacqueline Williamson. Her serve is over. Dug by Holt. Giblin going back to Holt near side. Cut shot. Kept alive. Back in one by Cathedral. And this one is out as Castanon Hill sends it wide. And the Cathedral Dons have won the title 16-14 in Game 5.
Thomas with the ball, swings it out to Norris. Cameron Taylor tried to block that one away. Norris with a strong take, blocked by B.J. Anya. Huge block. Robinson leading the break the other way, gets it to Grant. Slam dunk Jeremy Grant off the feed from James Robinson. What a play by the Stags.
Runner at third is Chavez. 8-2 the score. Bottom of the 7th. The 1-2. Popped in the air. This should do it. Cortopassi says it's mine. Now he's fading on it. And he can't make the catch, but Gaff comes in from center field and does. Congratulations to the St. Mary's Rams, a three-peat. They win it 8-2 against Franklin to take the series 2-0.
This is time to run an offensive set that you've done all through the season in practice.
Yeah. And also, you get it to your hottest player right now, just like they're getting it to Eichhorst right here. He's going to try to create some space, find somebody on the backside that's open.
Eichhorst flush out to the right. Oh, breaks free of a player. Eichhorst on his own, shoots and scores, bounces a shot home. Coos can't handle the shot. Eichhorst takes off the shirt and the helmet. And how about that? Alex called it. Eichhorst, after sustaining the injury in the third quarter of play, has scored the game winner with 22 seconds gone in the overtime period. Dogpile on the field. Marin Academy take it. A fantastic finish to this game. And, well, I hope his other ankle isn't hurting after this.
Hancock to his immediate left. 2 receivers far side, 1 near side. Hancock on a counter, right side. He's inside the 10. He bounces off a tackler at the 10. The 5. Touchdown, Helix. And behind Hancock, the field is littered with white jerseys on the turf.
Wow. Hancock not to be outdone by his fellow playmakers on offense. Put on a show on that short 12-yard touchdown run. Looked like he was down after 3 yards, just threw a defender on the ground.
As sophomore Chris Carter that's under center. In their tight wing formation, Lycos in motion. Second back through is Freeman. Freeman just knocking people over. Look at him run, breaks through, 4 tackles, and now it's a foot race to the end zone. And Freeman's going to go the distance. Touchdown Imperial on the first play of the second half. 2nd and 6 for Imperial from their own 47. They're going to give it to Freeman again off the left side. And Freeman gets by one wave and down across the 40-yard line. Still on his feet. Look at him run down to the 20-yard line. One man to beat. Gets by him. Touchdown, Freeman. How did he do that? Holy cow. 64-yard touchdown run. His 5th of the game. Royce Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the top rushing and the as I look over to our partners at KXO Radio, the top rusher in the San Diego section for the next 2 years.
That's just amazing. That is just amazing. They hit him in the backfield. They hit him at the line of scrimmage. They hit him a couple yards downfield. They hit him again near the goal line.
Keep those Lowell fans quiet over there.
Lum sets it up to Pang. Long, it's out. Low, a magnificent 7 titles in the San Francisco section in dramatic style as they pull out a fantastic victory over a spirited Galileo Lions team. They win the 4th game, 31-29, and they take the 2012 Academic Athletic Association San Francisco section title.
Officials say no 5-second count can be started. Nobody was close enough defensively. Lyle's going to swing left side, Robinson. Here is a backdoor lob for Grant. They've been wanting that all game.
And welcome back to City Park, everyone, the PlayOnSports.com Friday night game of the week for the Georgia High School Association, where Gainesville's Red Elephants lead Loganville by the score of 41-20 on homecoming night. A very nice homecoming presentation and show here, and congratulations to Roxana Garcia. She is your homecoming queen for 2012. Kevin Beck along with the big man, Chris King. Back with Kenny and Jason, our production team, doing a wonderful job for us, as they always do, on PlayOnSports.com on a Friday night. And big man, well, this one turned out to be, the second quarter turned out to be what we thought it was going to be, with Gainesville leaping out on top 41-20. But there's an awful lot going on around the Georgia High School Association. Let's update folks on what's going on as we wrap up the regular season, looking forward to the playoffs and how things are shaping up as they play right now.
Well, Kevin, I want to focus on this region right now. I mentioned going into tonight's game, Heritage trying to hold on to a spot in the playoffs, and Clark Central. Heritage at Appalachia tonight. Early on, they score Heritage 21, Appalachia 0, and Clark Central, who has been stumbling of late, losers of 3 straight, playing against that Winder Barrel team. And Kevin, we got to give Winder Barrel credit. After 31 consecutive losses, last week they got their first win since the 2009 season over Cedar Shoals, 31-21, and oddly enough, it was their homecoming night. Congratulations to Coach David Wagner. And even though they're out of the playoff hunt, that's one of those teams that get a little momentum. They could really spoil it for some people. And speaking of spoiling it, they're trying to spoil things for the Gladiators of Clark Central. But right now, late in the second quarter, it's Clark Central 16 and Winder Barrow 0.
All right, so it's shaping up to be an exciting second half all around the state here in the Georgia High School Association. This one here, the second half, Chris, looks like Loganville's going to get the ball to start the third quarter. They deferred in the first half. Good news for them that they're not going to have to face Deshaun Watson and company to start the third quarter after Watson and company really ran roughshod over them in that second quarter. And it all started, partner, with that turnover that they had when it looked like they were going to control the ball and stay in this one. It was 20-20 with about 8 minutes to play in the first half, and then it all went wrong for Loganville. A scoop and score for Gainesville, and that was pretty much what started it, and it's been downhill from there. Brenquez Dukes went 40 yards on the scoop and score, and then Deshaun Watson came back, and he with a quick strike to Michael Bird, and it was off to the races from there.
And, Kevin, I think what happened was Gainesville had actually scored. It was 27-20, and what Loganville was doing is trying to keep pace. And on the third and mediocre, about 3 and 4, Bernard Merriweather was trying to go right up the middle, but he got stripped. And as you mentioned, Dukes picked up the ball and ran it in, and that made it 34-20. And that's when things kind of went downhill from Loganville. They got stopped, and they gave the ball right back to Gainesville late in the first half, and Gainesville was able to put another touchdown on the board. 21-point deficit. Not insurmountable, but really tough, especially if you're playing against the offensive prowess of a Gainesville team. If you're Loganville, mistake-free football. We mentioned it. The mistakes stayed away for most of the first half, but what a bad time for a mistake. And a good team like Gainesville, anytime you give them a chance to take advantage of a mistake, they don't waste any time doing so.
And Loganville had to clear a big hurdle early in this one. About the second play from scrimmage, their starting quarterback, Royce Harrison, goes down with what appeared to be a left ankle. And in came Josh Laughlin, the other junior quarterback. Did a wonderful job. Didn't seem like they missed a beat because, as you said, Chris, Bernard Merriweather, the senior running back, carrying the load for them and sharing some of that with Braxton Beck doing a nice job. Those guys between them had about 135 yards of groundwork done for Loganville in that first half. They managed to stay in it, but after that, as Chris documented, it was all that high-powered quick strike offense of Gainesville, and I think Loganville's defense on the back foot there got a little gassed, partner, and the body language showed when Michael Bird ran right through them for that final score to make it 41-20. They needed the halftime break to happen. They got it just in time. Defense gets an extended break now with the offense getting the football. So the defense getting everything they need as far as rest, time to regroup and come back out there and try to find an answer for Watson. But first and foremost, Laughlin or Harrison, whoever comes out to lead this Loganville offense, has got to hold on to the football and get their team back in this. A great start would be 7 points to come out of this thing just to try to claw their way back in.
And Kevin, I would say time of possession in favor of Gainesville, but not that much in favor of Gainesville. But the impressive thing about the scoreboard, 21-point differential, and Loganville was able to take the ball. They moved the ball a couple of times. They benefited from a couple of mistakes early on in the game. They put 20 points on the board, and even with that, Gainesville was still able to put 41 points on the board. And why do I feel like they could have done more?
And remember, Chris, they had the 41-yard run by Michael Bird brought back on the holding call. So you could really put your hand on a couple of spots, 2 or 3 real key spots for Loganville when things did not go their way, and Gainesville did not fail to capitalize. And that's one of the things we talk about every week, Chris. Minimize the mistakes, capitalize on the opportunities. And Gainesville has, after a very sloppy first possession by Gainesville on both offense and defense, they really settled down, found their groove, and have begun to play Red Elephant football. So we are getting set to go from City Park Stadium. Kevin Beck with Chris King. Great to have you with us. Jason and Kenny, our production team, on homecoming night in Gainesville, set to go. And we're going to see if the Red Devils have any answer for this 3-touchdown deficit they face coming out in the second half. Turner with a low line drive. This will be Beck at the 16-yard line behind a wall of blockers. Now feels his way forward, and he'll have it out to about the 31-yard line, and that is where they will go to work on offense. The Loganville Red Devils will come back out. And, Chris, this will be the time we see if it's going to be Loeffner or Harrison. And we have seen some Wildcat a couple of times. The first snap for Loganville has been a Wildcat set, and right now I don't see either. Oh, now it is going to be Laughlin. So we do see number 15 trotting back onto the field. I do have an eye on Royce Harrison, and Chris, it looks like his shoe is off on that left ankle, so that's bad news there.
And he does have quite a large amount of tape on that ankle.
He does. So right now Laughlin is the man at the controls. 1st and 10 from the 31. It's going to be Merriweather on the give. Breaks the tackle to the 32-yard line.
Dangerous handoff that time. It looked like the quarterback was trying to bring it back in, and at the last second, Merriweather took the ball. The result was a very short gain.
Quarterback wants to put it in the belly of that running back, read that defensive end, and if that defensive end crashes down, he pulls that ball back out. But as you said, Chris, time ran out on him, and he let Merriweather take it for a very short gain. It'll be 2nd down and 8, almost 9 from the 32. Now Laughlin from the shotgun. Little pump fake and go. Looking to the far sideline and got a man complete. Alencio Graham brought down at the 37-yard line. No, check that. That's Tony White, the senior.
They've had a little bit of success going to that a little hitch and go route, especially when you get single coverage out there on the outside. Another big play for Loganville's offense.
Little pump fake there to freeze that DB. And they opened it up a little bit, going a little deeper in the playbook now for Loganville. They've got a 3-touchdown deficit to overcome, opening possession of the third quarter. And Loganville is on the move. Going to go to the outside again with the passing name now. Here is Graham. And he's going to be roughed up and brought down at the 35-yard line. So looking at Graham and White as the main weapons right now for Laughlin.
Good closing speed there on the outside. Sophomore defensive back Lewis Cousins came in and made the tackle.
So Taylor Boss checks back in. Graham checks out. White still in the game. He's in the slot far side. And Mitchell Webb, the other senior. So a 4 wideout set. Merriweather behind Laughlin. He gets the give, looks for room and finds it on the right side. A good shoestring tackle. Very nicely done on the outside. Devon Stringer there to save a big run.
Stringer's so dangerous.
Good one-on-one tackle. He's one of the stars carrying his defensive side as well.
Yeah, the linebackers are so loaded with Stringer and Pittman, so many other lightning-fast defensive players.
And Chris, can't help it. Jadarius Sosby, the sophomore, anchoring that stuff in the center. Doing a very nice job. They've got a very bright future at middle linebacker there with Jadarius Sosby. 3rd down and 2. Loganville trying to play possession football. Keep it away from Watson and company here on 3rd and 2. They're going to go to Beck this time. Left side, looks like he will move the pile far enough to have a Loganville first down. That's Loganville football right there. Mix in a few throws, but keep it with Beck and Merriweather on the ground and churn up yardage and churn up clock, more importantly. But right now they've got to play a little comeback football here, down by 3 scores.
Surprised Merriweather hadn't touched the ball as much.
He had 65 yards in the first half.
Beck's doing a good job as well.
See Tony White back in the game, spread to the wide side. And now Braxton Beck out of the backfield. He is the wide out to the near side. Merriweather behind Laughlin under center. Laughlin rolling and looking for Graham. Too high for him at the 15-yard line. That'll be incomplete. And Graham really took a shot over there. He's a little slow to get up on that far sideline. Really climbed the ladder and took a lick as he went up for it. TK Mize delivering the punishment over there. And Graham will come off just looking to catch some wind over there.
Ran a good route. He was open, but as you said, just a little bit of air under the football.
2nd down and 10 from the 27-yard line. Just under 9 minutes to play. 3rd quarter here at City Park Stadium. Gainesville Red Elephants looking for some momentum heading into the playoffs. Loganville looking to put a positive star on the board to wrap up their 2012. Here's Laughlin on the option give. He's just going to fight for forward progress and will be dragged down. They're going to say progress to about the 29-yard line, so he'll lose a couple on that.
Pretty good penetration. I didn't catch the number. I believe that was Quentin Brown.
3rd down and 13 from the 30. Official timeout as the clock stops. Looks like Jadarius Sosby with an equipment issue. They get that sorted out, and they will wind the clock. Big play here for Loganville to open the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 13 from the Gainesville 30. And they'll huddle up before they go to the line. Graham. Check that, Kyle Cowan to the far side. And White in the slot. Max protect for Laughlin. Looking to throw and does. And that's over everyone's head. Looking for Tony White on the far sideline. And that'll bring up 4th down and 13. And Chris, it looks like Laughlin's going to stay on the field. Field goals do them no good at this point, because you know Gainesville is not going to be giving up 3. You can't trade field goals for touchdowns against the Gainesville Red Elephants. That will not get it done.
Loganville doing a really, really good job of moving the football. Stalled here late. Big 4th down conversion.
They are in comeback mode here. Opening possession of the 3rd quarter, down by 3 touchdowns. Josh Laughlin, the junior QB, looking to guide the Red Devils back. Merriweather in for protection, and Laughlin fires over the middle. Got a man at the 14-yard line, and that is going to be good enough for a 1st down. Taylor Boss, the junior, a good catch, and he took a big hit down there, but that will move the chains. Very impressive throw by Laughlin.
Boss found a seam in that zone defense over there. Big play for Loganville, Kevin.
A little skinny post there, and Laughlin nailed him right between the numbers. Big play on 4th down and 13 to move the chains. So mixing it up very nicely. A nice mixture of pass and run right now by the Red Devils. Opening possession of the 3rd quarter, doing exactly what they've got to do. Get some points, churn some clock. Laughlin goes option to Beck. Beck looking for a hole in the middle. Nothing there. They'll drag tacklers forward to about the 12-yard line.
Good sustained drive here, Kevin, to open up the second half, taking a lot of time off the clock.
Big play on 4th and 13, Chris. A nice job of converting that. That's got to give that offense a little confidence now. Call it 2nd down and 8. They can get a 1st down at the 3. Clock runs down towards 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 3 tight end set for Laughlin. Going to go inside to Merriweather. Dances his way through the hole down to about the 7. And he'll be brought down there. 3rd down and short coming up. Call it 3rd down and 3.
Definitely 2-down territory again, Kevin.
Again, they can get a 1st down, but they've got to have points right now, Chris. Clock running, 6:30 to play, 3rd quarter. Loganville down by 21. Looking to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Merriweather another time, left side. Looked like he had the edge, but elected to cut it inside. Nice tackle there by Devon Stringer, Chris. How many times are we going to see Stringer with a big defensive play? Very close to a 1st down, and as you said, partner, 4th down or 4-down territory for them at this point in the ball game.
Less than a yard.
And looks like Camden County has turned things around and taken the lead over Lowndes, 10-7, and that'll be at halftime. And this is going to be close enough for a measurement. That would be big to not have to face a 4th down. So Camden County at the buzzer of halftime, a 47-yard field goal to take the lead over Lowndes. A real slugfest down there in South Georgia.
Clark Central has extended their lead on Wanda Barrow at half, 24-0.
All right, it's going to be inches now. 4th and inches. They can get a first down there at the 3. So another big moment in the ball game for Loganville. And, Chris, this is where we've seen guys like Pittman step up big, coming from their linebacker spots or creeping up on that safety position and coming around and pursuing that play from the backside. Huge point in the ball game for Loganville.
You've also got to look for Devin Stringer. We've called his name numerous times tonight.
Might even look for Laughlin here on the sneak. They just need about half a football, but they are going to turn and give it to Merriweather. He lowers the shoulder. Won't get to the goal line, but that will be good enough for 4 fresh tries at it. But Merriweather really hits that line with authority, Chris. Very impressed by this young man here tonight.
Yeah, 5'10", 205 pounds, and he uses every ounce of his weight when he hits that line of scrimmage.
And he is quick. He gets the football again, hit from the backside, and he's going to be short of the goal line. So Loganville giving Gainesville a taste of their own medicine, going quick snap. And they go to Merriweather another time. It's going to be about a football away from the line, Chris, if that. Maybe the stripe on the nose of the ball. And Loganville has really chewed up better than half of this third quarter, keeping Deshaun Watson and all his weapons on the sideline.
I'd like to think Laughlin could probably just dive over.
He could just about reach, but he's going to turn and give it to Merriweather, who dives off the right side, and he's in. Loganville takes it the distance and does exactly what they have to do. Very impressive drive out of the locker room. 4:53 to play third quarter, and we're an extra point away from 41-27.
Mixed it up really well, Kevin. Mostly on the ground, a couple of passes. As you said, a big 4th down conversion, which kept the drive alive.
Well, 2 big 4th downs there, bud. All right, 4th and 13, then 4th and inches deep in the red zone. And now here's Flynn to make it 41-27. They need every point they can get. Good snap, good set, good kick is up, and it's good. Flag on the play late. Looks like Flynn may have gotten nailed, or maybe the holder got nailed. So the extra point makes it 41-27.
Yeah,
and just as they did to open the ball game, Chris, Loganville with a pretty impressive offensive drive.
Flynn,
sort out the flag there. Pardon me, Chris. Sort out the flag down there at the 10.
Yeah, Flynn, he's getting up slowly. Got a pretty good foot. He's putting that ball, I mean, obviously the PAT's not very long, but he's putting that ball well over into the woods.
And it will be a personal foul, roughing the kicker, so you would think that Flynn could drive this one into the end zone and make Deshaun Watson and crew go the distance.
Kevin, interesting to see what would have happened had Loganville recovered that onside kick attempt there at the beginning of the game. They had scored a touchdown. They had the momentum, and had it not been for just a wobbly, bouncy, unfortunate bounce for Loganville, I mean, you know, we would have, could have, should have all night long, but we saw Loganville until they made that big turnover. They were right here with Gainesville. Not the team that can go blow to blow offensively with Gainesville, but if given an opportunity, can hang around.
So, Chris, interesting situation here with the roughing the kicker. Flynn's going to kick off from the Red Elephants 45. Now, would this be a time to maybe try another onside kick, or do you just go ahead and drill this out of the end zone and make Watson go the 80 yards?
Well, Gainesville has 5 up on the line, so they are thinking the same thing you are.
I think they're.
He doesn't hurt.
They've got their hands team up front, so let's see what they decide to do. And it is going to be Flynn driving it into the end zone. So no return on the kick. Payne's just going to watch it go over his head. And Watson and company will go to work. 1st and 10 from their own 20, still with that 14-point lead. And a long rest for that Loganville D. Let's see if they come out re-energized here with a different game plan on how to shut down the one of 6 weapons that Deshaun Watson trots onto the field with.
And you have to say that Loganville's offense has done their job. They have put on the board already a lot more than what they're averaging this year. Their defense just has to find a way to slow down Gainesville.
5 wide out set right out of the box, but they go on the ground. It's going to be Jay Godlock. Ball's on the ground. Looks like it's recovered by Loganville at the 20. First down, Loganville. Let's sort out the flag.
Devontae Belk was the man who recovered it for Loganville. Flags all over the field right now.
Let's see how this turns. And the way they're changing personnel, Chris, it looks like the penalty is going to go against Gainesville. So not only do Loganville get the football, they get it back inside the red zone.
Very interesting turn of events.
Looks like the official's going to pick up the flag. No indication. He may have meant to throw a beanbag instead of the flag on the fumble, but look at this. Best case scenario for Loganville. A short field. Now Merriweather, he gets the give on the inside, and nothing happening there. He's going to lose a yard.
Great play by Damian Grayson. 5'10", 230-pound defensive lineman.
Chris, this is a mirror image of how we started the ball game. Loganville came out, got on the scoreboard. Gainesville came out and kind of were sleepwalking around and kept Loganville in the football game. If the Red Devils can get us touchdown here and draw within 7, I mean, that would absolutely be miraculous on their side, and the defense hasn't taken the field. Well, they did just enough to get the football back, but other than that, Loganville getting exactly what the doctor ordered to start this second half. Laughlin to throw, looking, got a man on the far sideline. Ball is tipped up in the air and intercepted on the far sideline.
Great defensive play.
It's going to be a foot race down the far sideline, now cutting back and brought down at the 45-yard line. Branquez Dukes with his second big play of the ball game, and that snuffs out the Loganville momentum. The ball was a little high, tipped into the air, and Dukes came down with it, stayed in bounds, and off he comes with a flag back at the 18-yard line, Chris. Let's see. This may be Gainesville football, but not in the field position that they had anticipated. Let's sort out the flag.
Yeah, more than likely the interception will stand, but
how about that?
We're flipping the field again, Kevin. I mean, punch, counter punch with turnovers, you should say.
So that's going to bring Watson back out. So it looks like it's going to be a post-possession foul, but it will march back.
What a golden opportunity Loganville had that time, Kevin.
Wow. And just Laughlin has been high on his passes all night long, and that one cost him. He was over there looking to the sideline, ball tipped in the air, and Dukes came down with it. And he had a head of steam and a line of blockers in front of him. So the big return gets erased, but so does the Loganville possession. So now Watson and company go to work after the foul from their own 9. Going to slide it outside to Bird. He's got room and cuts it up to about the 24-yard line. And they run back to the line of scrimmage, Chris. Look at these guys from Gainesville just sprinting up to get into position while Loganville still looking to the sideline for their defensive signals. And that could be lethal if you don't get your men in position with Deshaun Watson back there. He could hurt you in so many ways with his arm and with his legs near side. Flag down as Watson lowers his shoulder at the 35.
It's going to be another holding.
That looks like it's going to be holding against Gainesville.
Behind the play.
And it sure is. So another penalty snuffing out momentum for Gainesville. That'll be a spot foul.
So right now, Kevin, I think it's safe to say that Gainesville doing their best to keep Loganville in the game.
Absolutely, doing everything they can. Instead of first down inside Loganville territory,
yeah,
2 penalties have got them first and 11 back at their own 21. They try Statue of Liberty with Bird. He busts through the middle, but a nice job there on the defensive side to wrap him up and bring him down. Jake Schweffler, the senior linebacker, on the stop. So Loganville had the football for about 9 minutes of this third quarter and only came up with 7 points. Now they slip it to the outside to the big weapon, Caleb Heyman. And he's going to be very close to a Gainesville first down.
Kevin, eventually these little quick out passes that are chunking up yardage, Loganville's going to have to come up to the line and play bump and run eventually. I mean, look at the cushion they're giving.
3rd and 2. They go to the outside this time. Lahias Leverett.
And he looks like he started to run before he had control of the football.
Very uncharacteristic of one of Deshaun Watson's biggest weapons out there, Leverett.
They're kicking the ball. They have to.
So the defense stands tall for Loganville, and they will get the football back 4th down and 2.5, maybe 3, but that's a statement of respect for that Loganville offense there by Coach Miller. Now Watson runs up. They're going to fake it. They were in punt position. Now they go, and they draw them offside. It worked to perfection. What a great job and a great call by Gainesville. Well coached, well executed.
Wow, that hurts too.
That is all drawn up by the fact that Watson did punt in the first half. He ran up there, got Loganville all excited on defense. One quick bark of a signal, and they get a free 5 and a first down.
And that hurt almost as much as that interception because, in a sense, that's a turnover because you're getting ready to get the ball back.
Absolutely right. And here they come right back with Lackey, with blockers on the near side. Dances his way outside, and he'll be shoved out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Tremendous play and a great call by Bruce Miller. And when you've got a weapon like Deshaun Watson out there, it really opens up the playbook. And Loganville's defense was not ready. A high snap out of the shotgun this time. They go to Bird, and he's going to be wrapped up. He'll lose one. Back to the 40.
That's Evan Messer. Filling the gaps, doing a great job.
Staying home, a great job of not biting. 3rd down and 5. Watson to fire over the middle. He's going to go to Heyman. Got him. And Heyman will fall forward across the 45 to the 43-yard line, and that will move the chains. Chris, not only does the defensive unit have to really stay on its toes, these officials are really running out there. They're hopping, and they have to really be on their game to stay up with Watson and that Gainesville offense. 2 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. 6 wide out set for Gainesville. 6. And they go QB draw with Watson as they spread the formation. He dances his way across the line of scrimmage, now spinning. And finally they converge on him. Looks like the football came out. No official signal yet. Loganville thinks they have it.
On that last spin, right when he went down, somebody's helmet took the ball out of Watson's hands, and we'll see as they unpile everybody.
And that will be 1st down, Loganville, and they snuff out the drive.
Red Devils hanging around, Kevin.
And Chris, Eric Godfrey, the head coach of Loganville, was right next to the pile screaming at the officials, and that could have been a very costly situation for him. He was way too far onto the field.
And that's not the first time we've seen him do that tonight. Earlier, he was really jawing in one of the line judges' ears about 14 yards onto the field.
So Deshaun Watson trying to gain extra yardage, 3rd, 4th, and 5th effort, cost him on the spin, puts the football on the ground, and Loganville will go back to work. What's, Chris, their 3rd possession of this 3rd quarter? 1st and 10 from their 29. And you said it, partner. They have done everything possible, speaking of Gainesville, to keep Loganville in this game. Motion behind Laughlin. He wants to throw. Looking downfield.
Overthrew
and
everybody that
incomplete. Put a lot of air under that, looking for Taylor Boss, the junior. And that'll be 2nd down and 10.
And I kind of like the way they did it the previous drive. Ball control, a hitch here, up the middle there. A clutch pass when you need it. I'm not sure I agree with that 1st down call, trying to go for broke.
2nd down and 10 from their own 29-yard line. 4 wide out set, 3 to the near. Merriweather is the back. He gets the carry, slides off tacklers at the line of scrimmage and finds some room on that left edge. Going to be very close to a 1st down around the 37-yard line. Probably bring up 3rd down and short.
One of the few times Loganville's run to the outside with success. But when you've got a guy who is as strong as Merriweather and as fast as Merriweather, you ride him as long as you can.
I like the way he kind of gets up to the line of scrimmage, kind of feels his way with his shoulder down, looking for that gap, and then explodes through it. Very impressed with Merriweather here tonight. Approaching 1 minute of play in a rapidly moving 3rd quarter. Big play here for Loganville. 3rd and 1.5 from their own 38-yard line. It's going to be Beck this time off that left side. And I don't think he made it back to the line of scrimmage, Chris. That's going to be 4th down upcoming.
A little too much lateral running that time, Kevin. When you've got a yard and a half to go, you've got to get all your momentum moving forward. Even if you get hit, if you're moving forward, you can fall forward to get a yard or two, which is all Loganville needed at that time.
Another big moment here in the 3rd quarter as the clock runs down to 30 seconds to play in the 3rd. Laughlin brings him to the line. 4th down and less than a yard. And Gainesville wants to talk it over on defense. They're going to spend their first timeout of the second half. So what a wild and wacky third quarter it has been, Chris. Loganville comes out with the kickoff. Down the field scores, cuts it to 2 touchdowns. Really had the opportunity of the game with the fumble in the red zone, heading right back in. Then the Laughlin interception really snuffed that out. But again, Gainesville continues to give them gift after gift with penalties and mistakes. Couldn't convert, and now they find themselves with the football, but out of time here in the third quarter. About 26 seconds to play, and they need 2 touchdowns.
And don't forget, you throw in the fact that after the interception, a great interception return, negated by a block in the back, brought him back, and another penalty which put Gainesville even further back and made them punt the football after a third down conversion that could have been converted had the receiver caught the ball and then started running. Instead, he decided to run before he caught the football.
And then put them in punt formation, as you mentioned. They run the great fake play, which I thought was fabulous. All they needed was Loganville to jump, and they did. So that's a turnover, essentially.
So I guess, long story short, Loganville's hanging around.
Loganville is absolutely hanging around in this one. They've got the football, but right now a big spot for them. 4th down and about a yard. They go to Merriweather. He's tripped up in the backfield.
I think he got
and
it.
Based on the spot where the official runs out, the linesman, now some of the Gainesville players are saying he lost the football. But I don't think the officials are having any of it. And it looks like they might measure, but this is very close. And they are going to go ahead and march the chains forward.
And
big play there for Loganville.
That's the difference between lateral movement and moving forward, getting all your weight going forward. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, but since his momentum was moving forward, he was able to fall forward and convert on the big 4th down.
Back in the football game, Royce Harrison with a lot of tape on that left ankle. The starting QB is back at the end of the third quarter. Harrison is back. He limped off. Now they're going to run option with him, and he puts his head down, showing big heart. The football's on the ground and recovered by Bernard Merriweather. So an inauspicious return. Wow, Chris, no one saw that coming. The option with the injured quarterback, and he puts the football on the ground. That will be the final play of the third quarter here from City Park Stadium. Football fans, remember, PlayOnSports.com is not only your destination for Friday night football action, but it's also the place for the most comprehensive coverage of high school playoff and championship events in all sports from across the country. PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. We'll take a break from City Park Stadium with your score, Gainesville 41, Loganville 27. We'll be right back for fourth quarter action. So we begin the fourth quarter, 2nd down and 10 from City Park Stadium. Loganville trying to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Harrison out, Laughlin back in. They go to Merriweather, and he is stuffed for a loss. So this series not starting out the way Loganville had planned. They came back with Harrison, Chris, on the option play. Very surprised he took off and ran, took a big shot, put the football on the ground, and he is back out of the ball game. So they gave him a try. They've ran him out. But right now they find themselves in a deep hole once again. 3rd down, we'll call it 14.
Big Jadarius Sosby, the penetration that time.
That big 220-pound sophomore linebacker. Got to think that young man is still growing. He's going to grow into quite the linebacker here.
Not calling too many senior names on this Gainesville team, which is good for these guys for a year or so to come.
Scary for the rest of the region. Laughlin back in at QB. Big play for Loganville again. Seems like we've been saying that for the entire second half. Looking to throw with room. Now he tucks it, runs into trouble. Going to be dragged down. Damian Grayson wrapped him up. And that will bring up 4th down and long.
And Kevin, you always want your first string quarterback in the ball game, but they brought their starter back in, and he kind of stalled a bit.
Yeah, kind of an inauspicious return to the football game. Probably just trying to do too much, trying to climb his way back into this game as well, Chris. And that will bring out the punter, Matt Flynn.
This kid's got a pretty good foot.
Trey Harrison back at his own 30 to receive the punt. That's a good wobbler. Harrison calls for the fair catch and muffs it. Ball's on the ground. Loganville has it at the 25.
Again, hanging around are the Red Devils.
Harrison comes off with his head down, called for the fair catch. Looked like he had it. It was a wobbling nose-up spiral, not too tough to handle, but he muffed it under pressure, and Loganville pounced on it.
And once again, Kevin, Gainesville letting Loganville.
I mean, that's a 40-yard gain right there. Want to give a call to Ben Smith, the senior strong safety who pounced on that. And here comes Harrison back in the game, number 1.
What do you think about that, Kevin? The backup quarterback kept him in the game. You bring in your starter whose ankle is heavily wrapped.
Godfrey knows his crew better than we do, Chris. And here's Merriweather trying to shake tacklers, but look at the pursuit.
Closing speed. Those linebackers, boy, they are all over the place. The Pittman was in there on the tackle. I mean, it's the same guys. You keep calling them over and over.
Flag on the play, Chris.
Sosby on there in the tackle as well.
Once he got loose around the edge, you would think he'd have some room, but it was just a sea of red that converged on him and washed him under for the loss. Let's get the call. Personal foul against Gainesville.
Another huge play.
Chris, at the risk of sounding redundant, Gainesville doing everything they can to make this a football game. And that's 15 marched off down inside the 15. And Loganville go to work, 1st and 10. And they're going to stick with Harrison with Merriweather in the backfield.
Watch Schweffler. He's lined up over here on the near side by himself.
And swing it to the outside on the flanker screen. And, wow, what a great job of pursuit again over there by that Gainesville D, DeFon Stringer.
Yeah.
Chris, he is so quick and so strong.
I heard of him.
To go back to your previous point, the only reason I might bring Harrison back in, he might be the better passer of the pair. And in a situation where you've got to climb your way back into a game down by 2 scores, that might be the thought process there for Eric Godfrey. I'm strictly speculating, but that would be one of the factors. Now here's Laughlin back in the game. 2nd down and 10. And Gainesville spends another timeout. Their 2nd of the half.
Kevin, going back to that little quarterback controversy, I can see that point. But when you bring Royce Harrison in the game, the first play he runs from scrimmage is an option. You know, he's got an ankle heavily taped. And once again, you know, this is my job to get up here and analyze and kind of ask the questions, and, you know, you and I can kind of see what we think. But you got a guy in Laughlin. He's stepped in. He's done a really good job. He's had a little help, but he's kept his team in the game. And when you bring Harrison back in the game, do you lose a little bit of that chi? Do you lose a little bit of that momentum that the team has kind of grabbed a hold of it with their backup quarterback?
Sure. I mean, they've managed to stay in a game with Gainesville, in a game that no one gave them any business being in, with Laughlin as the backup. And again, it could go down to chemistry or just personal strengths. Maybe one's better at certain schemes than the other. And we're going to see it all play out in front of us right now on 2nd down and 10. We'll see who comes out. Looks like it's going to be Laughlin. Laughlin considerably bigger than Harrison. So after the personal foul, Loganville has really got themselves in a good position, but it's 2nd down and 10. They're going to go on the ground this time, and nothing doing.
Michael Pittman.
Jonah Tompkins, his first carry of the game, and he is welcome to the match.
Kevin, it's almost as if Gainesville has a couple of extra defensive ends or defensive linemen, because these linebackers are coming up and they are not being, they aren't being touched at all. They're right there at the initial contact when the receiver or the running back gets the football.
3rd down and 12 for Loganville. Again, another of the dozens of big plays in the game so far for Loganville, and they've managed to convert on most of them. It's going to be Laughlin in the shotgun. Max protect. Gainesville showing blitz, and here they come. They go screen to the outside to Tompkins with all kinds of room. A foot race to the corner. He's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 1. A great call, Chris. You talked about it earlier. They come with a full blitz. Why not a dump off? Why not a screen? And there it is. It worked to perfection. Huge play. Great call. Great execution.
So many calls to the right side. Right. That time taking advantage of the aggressiveness of the Gainesville offense, Gainesville defense. A great call, and Loganville sitting really, really strong here to knock into this lead.
First down and goal at the 2, trailing by 14. 8:17 and counting in the ball game. And Chris, we've got the makings of a shocker here at City Park Stadium. They haven't closed the deal yet. Here's Loeffner with Tompkins and Merriweather behind him. It's going to be Tompkins with Merriweather leading the way. And they're going to rip him back to the 5, but I think forward progress will have him down inside the 1.
Fred Payne tackling that time for Gainesville.
So Jonah Tompkins comes in. We have not seen Braxton Beck in the last couple of series here.
Did he just come in the game?
See Brandon Moncrief in there, number 17. And Ethan Rutledge, the big junior fullback, he leads the way for Merriweather. No call yet, no signal. Looks like fighting for yardage. The football was on the ground. No, they're going to say he's down at the 1. Chris, the football came out, bounced into the end zone, but the far side linesman came in emphatically pointing to the ground, saying the ball carrier was down. The Gainesville players not liking the call, but a huge bullet dodged by Loganville.
And I like the fact that the official came in and without hesitation made the call.
Good definitive call there by the far side linesman. And that erases any kind of argument from the near sideline. 3rd down and goal. And Chris, again, about the stripe of the football, gets them in. And not only gets them in, gets them within a touchdown.
You got your big, tall or lankier quarterback in there. I say just let him dive.
Laughlin on the sneak. Slides over the right guard, and he is in. Touchdown, Loganville.
Ball came out.
Oh, my goodness.
Ball came out again, but it was after
he crossed the plane, Chris. It is a remarkable effort by the Loganville Red Devils. They have just about doubled their season average of points per game and have held the Gainesville Red Elephants scoreless in this second half. 6:25 to play in this football game.
And very important extra point, Kevin. One of the reasons why it could possibly be a 7-point game is because they missed a PAT earlier, and Gainesville missed a 2-point conversion.
Flynn's kick is up. He drives it through, and it is good. With 6:24 to play in the ball game at City Park Stadium, it's Gainesville 41, Loganville 34. Chris, Loganville has had the football for 85% of the second half. You talked about it in the first half. They've got to play ball control, they've got to play clock control, and they've got to get points in doing it. 41-34.
Opportunistic as well when they've been given a mistake via Gainesville, and Gainesville by far has not played a very good second half here. They have not put a point on the board in this second half, and I don't know, you could go back in the record books, but I bet you it's been a while since Gainesville has gone a quarter and a half without scoring any points.
Well, Chris, you could probably add to that statement with how many mistakes they have made in this second half to keep themselves off the scoreboard. They're down to 1 timeout, and right now this homecoming crowd, which is just basically capacity here at City Park, has had absolutely nothing to cheer about for 30 minutes.
And so many times you talk about games like this, you're talking about looking over the opponent that's supposedly.
They were looking like onside kick formation. Harrison fields it at the 21. It breaks a couple tackles out to the 37-yard line. He was 1 tackle away from being loose. So right now, Gainesville with 6:16 to play, Chris, you almost get the feeling in the atmosphere that Gainesville is behind in this thing.
You never want to think that one team is looking past a game to get to next week, but we all, even everybody mentioned the fact that Gainesville should be okay and should go into next week's game against Flowery Branch for the region title on the line. But Loganville said, hey, don't forget us. We're here. We traveled a pretty good ways up the road, and we're not coming up here just to lay down.
3-man front for Loganville. Watson to throw. They screen it outside to Godlock. He's got a blocker out there. It's going to be out to about the 45-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4. So Gainesville not changing what they do, Chris, but they've got to stay away from those mistakes.
And as much as they have faltered here in the second half, they do still have the lead. So Loganville's defense has to buck up at least one more time.
Going to go to the outside this time.
That might be a
lateral.
Scrimmage.
No, they're going to. They are. They're going to say lateral. The official signaled lateral. It's going to be Loganville football.
And that was the right call because that ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. And what another interesting, what other adjective you want to describe? Crazy turn of events here for the Loganville Red Devils.
And Chris, we talked about this a little earlier. We might see some guys that haven't played all year. Jerry Devert, the sophomore, the intended receiver, the ball was a little behind him. He couldn't handle it. And just like that, Loganville stayed with the play. Great awareness on defense to stay with the play. And I immediately looked at the back judge. He pointed at the end zone, which means that's a backward pass. And just like that, here come Loganville on the Gainesville 24, 5:44 to play, down by 7. Merriweather on the carry, wrapped up and ripped down to the ground. A great job of pursuit there. Damian Grayson.
Quick as a cat.
Boy, he's a big man, but he is quick to pursue. He got that from the backside and brought him down for a loss of about a half a yard.
Now, I think that turnover may have woken the sleeping giant there on the Gainesville defense. They know now that there is officially no room for error. If Loganville scores, who knows? They may go for 2.
Chris, Gainesville's offense has run 4 plays in the second half. From the shotgun, here's Laughlin, 2nd down and 11. He wants to throw with room under pressure. They flare it outside with plenty of room to run his back. He tries to shed a tackler, spins forward toward the 15-yard line. That could be very close to a Loganville first down. Chris, with the blitz came, Laughlin, very aware, dumped it right into that empty space. Good read, good play, good design, good execution. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds before the 17-yard line, so a 3rd down and 3 coming up.
Good call bringing Laughlin back into the game just because I believe he was more into the flow of the football game, and he is really doing a good job trying to keep Loganville around and possibly getting them to drive for the potential tying touchdown.
3rd and 3, Laughlin under center this time. Looking to throw, fires to the outside. Got a man spinning loose, still breaking tackles out there is Tony White, and that's going to be good enough for a Loganville first down.
A little soft coverage again that way on the with the defensive backs.
Really picking on that far side of the secondary right now is Laughlin. Now they're going to say, Chris, wow. They're going to say very, very close, but no first down. I thought for sure he had first down yardage. Huge play, and that has got Gainesville's crowd on their feet. 4th down and about a half a football.
Potentially your ball game if Loganville does not convert. And I think Gainesville wants to talk about it.
They do. They're going to spend their final timeout, Chris. That's huge. Now, do you take advantage of Gainesville's aggressive nature, go with a hard barking count, and try to get the free first down? Worth a try.
I don't know if you don't just do what you did previously on the goal line when you went for the touchdown. Like I said, you mentioned that Royce Harrison, Josh Laughlin, obviously difference in size. Laughlin's a little bit bigger, looks to be a little stronger, a little lankier.
And he's in the game, Chris.
And he's in the game. He's in the flow. So just once again, you only need, what?
6 inches.
4 or 5 inches maybe. Go off the backside of your center and
feel
you get
your
the
way.
mark.
Feel your way. Or reach. Just take it and reach. But be careful with the football. This is huge. Gainesville, playing as if they're behind, spends their final timeout. 4th down and inches for Loganville. Gainesville has made every mistake in the book, and Loganville has taken advantage.
Run up to the line and run it quick.
Laughlin under center. A lot of noise from the Gainesville faithful. They run motion behind Laughlin. Laughlin wants to throw. They fire it outside. A great
What
play.
a great call.
They're going to say he's down. No, they're going to say touchdown. The far side official said no. The near side official said yes. They snookered everybody, and Loganville is within a point of tying this thing at 41.
Was that Luke Miscellaneous?
Another guy we hadn't seen all night long.
Big senior tight end. And what a great call, Kevin. You and I were talking about all the different scenarios going right up the middle, trying to just scratch your way in there, and I think that's what Gainesville was looking for. And what a great call, and what a great ball game.
That's why you and I have never earned a nickel as head coaches, partner.
I've never won a game.
Big point is up.
He missed it.
And he misses it. Flynn misses the extra point, and he is dejected standing there.
And there's a flag down.
Flag down on the play. Have to sort that out. Chris, this game has had everything. Dead ball, personal foul against Loganville.
I think that's going to be marched off on the kick. Wow. That's all you can say is wow.
Wow, Flynn misses the biggest kick of the 2012 season. Holy cow. All I can say is, partner, been there, done that. I have pushed a few to the right in my day as well. None as big as that for young Flynn, and he is absolutely dejected, but his teammates are picking him up over there on the far sideline. 4:42 to play. 41-40, Gainesville. Now, Chris, Gainesville has not played a very good second half here. If I'm Loganville, I'm pinning my ears back, and I'm looking for every possible mistake. I'm ripping at that football, doing everything I can.
But they're still ahead.
But
Barely.
they're still in this
But they're
football
still
game.
ahead.
But they've been playing like they're behind. Very, very tight.
Jason made a good point. He motioned to me that Gainesville has no timeouts left.
That's right.
I mean, but they really don't need any if they have the ball and the lead.
Now, this is the time where Deshaun Watson has got to take this team on his shoulders and make them execute. Now, Loganville, Chris, any reason to onside kick this one?
Kick it deep. Kick it deep. I mean, Gainesville's done nothing in the second
Well,
half.
actually, they can't, Chris, because of the personal foul. They're going to march it back 15 and kick off from their own 20.
Try to kick it as deep as they possibly can, I guess.
Yeah, or 25. So that hurts.
That's a big personal foul.
That
yes, sir.
hurts. So that's a double punch to the gut. You miss the extra point to tie the game, and you commit the personal foul. So you're going to set up Deshaun Watson and company in very good field position.
Plus, and you got Trey Harrison back there straddling the 20-yard line.
And he's going to be looking for redemption after that muff punt, which resulted in that touchdown. And, Chris, it looks like they might go ahead and just roll the dice here.
Think it's going to. Maybe you think he'll try to kick it over that first line of defense there for Gainesville.
Well, I've seen everything tonight thrown at them by Eric Godfrey. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's got to go to the 35-yard line before a Loganville player is eligible to touch the ball.
And it is going to be an onside kick. Flynn bounces it up there, and they've got it. They've got it to 36. Perfectly executed onside kick.
Good grief.
Perfectly executed.
It looked as if the ball went 11 yards.
Now they're talking about it, Chris. Haven't seen it officially. Now they're saying Loganville ball. An onside kick from their own 25-yard line. Flynn executes it perfectly. It takes the high bounce over the first wave of Gainesville players, and Loganville has it with 4:40 to play and 3 timeouts. Chris, Gainesville has got to wonder what star has absolutely burnt out on them tonight.
No one wanted to touch the football for Gainesville, which if you're in there in Gainesville, you want to get in there and touch the football. But Loganville, just like you said, Kevin, executed perfectly. The kicker was behind the ball.
And
the
Chris,
ball
look
went
at
11
it.
yards.
You said it had to go to the 35. They recovered on the 36. That is absolute perfect execution of an onside kick, but how brave to do it from your own 25. And now, partner, they only need a field goal to win this thing.
They're down by 1. Plenty of time left on the clock.
So Flynn gets redemption on the onside kick, executes it perfectly. Is the story about to be written for young Flynn to win this thing after missing that extra point? High drama here at City Park, and partner, I'll tell you, I was not one that thought this was going to transpire here tonight.
That's why we play the football games.
A lot of news writers going to be eating their tablets after some of the words written about this one. 2nd down and 6. Laughlin under center. They go play action this time with Merriweather. He cuts it up inside, and he'll power his way to about the 43. That'll bring up 3rd down and 3.
Damian Grayson along with others on the tackle.
So this one has been exciting from the get-go, Chris, and it looks like Loganville really came out and made the statement that they were not just here for a beatdown on homecoming night in Gainesville. They came to win this football game. How huge, and the implications in the region if Loganville can pull this off. 3rd down and 3. Laughlin, shotgun to Beck. Fakes
Keeper.
it. Here comes Laughlin, rumbling across midfield. Gets dragged down from the backside. A nice tackle there. Brenquez Dukes all over the football field for that Gainesville defense. Great ball fake there. And Laughlin taking his team on his back right now, Chris. Good reason to keep Laughlin in the ball game right now. Let Royce Harrison just cheer him on from the far sideline.
Very good decision. We saw him make that decision a couple of times earlier in the ball game. He knew when to give the ball to Merriweather, and he knew when to keep the ball. That time he saw all the pressure coming to the middle, so he decided he was going to run to the outside, and it was a positive result and a 1st down for Loganville.
Chris, the Gainesville Red Elephants have not had the football for more than 5 plays in this second half. There's Beck across the 40 to about the 38-yard line before he's pounded down. Michael Pittman there.
Lewis Cousins on the tackle that time for Gainesville. And we've got to start talking about field goal position, even though we still got a lot of time left. Right now with the ball on the 38, you're looking at a 55-yard field goal. This kicker has shown he's got a good foot. No need to rush things. 2nd down and manageable for Loganville.
2 minutes, 45 seconds to play in the game. The clock is running. Loganville has their full complement of timeouts. Gainesville is out of timeouts. Laughlin looking to throw near side, has time. Man around his ankles. Now he fires. Got a man on the far near sideline. You say out of bounds, incomplete.
And a big collision over there.
Big collision over there. It looked like number 9, Tony White, on the reception, and he got absolutely leveled and went down on that hard part of the sideline, and he is a little gimpy coming up out of that mix. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Ran a good route.
And how about Laughlin there with a man hanging on his ankles to deliver that football. And here comes Harrison. And Laughlin trots off. Royce Harrison back in. So the quarterback shuffle continues for the Red Devils. 3rd and 6. Harrison, option. Still looking now. Cuts it back inside. Dives forward to the 35. And he's going to be short of a 1st down. It'll be 4th down and 2. Another huge moment in this football game.
This might be a time where I would call a timeout and talk about it.
They're talking about it over on the sideline, Chris. He's got most of the offensive unit over there huddled around him, speaking of Coach Eric Godfrey. And here comes Laughlin back in with the play. 2 wideouts to the far side. Keep your eye on Tony White, number 9. And down here on the near side, 1-on-1. 4th down and 2. Could be the ball game. 1:50 to play in the 4th quarter. Laughlin drops to throw. Screen, far side. Plenty of room. Merriweather, 1st down and out of bounds.
Both teams have been guilty of soft coverage in the secondary for most of the night.
That play has worked 4 times in critical positions for Loganville, and Gainesville has not adapted.
How do you let a guy like Merriweather get that open? But on the other side, we saw earlier in the game where Michael Bird was doing the exact same thing.
1st and 10 from the 25. They go with Merriweather on the ground. He's dragging tacklers to the 20-yard line. Inside a minute 30, minute 25, and ticking. 2nd down and 5.
No secret here, Kevin. Loganville wants to get as close as they can, take as much time off this clock, and either win it or lose it at the buzzer.
Masterful job by Eric Godfrey. Here's Braxton Beck. He's loose in the secondary. That's going to be 1st and goal inside the 5 for Loganville. 1:07. The clock stops to move the chains.
Gainesville with no timeouts remaining. They cannot stop the clock.
Gainesville cannot stop the clock. It'll start running at 1:07 when they wind it.
And if you're Loganville, take your time.
Well inside Flynn's territory. It's going to be Braxton Beck. He forces his way forward. The ball is out, but they're going to say down again. An absolute replay of 20 minutes ago. They're going to say Beck was down. He reached for the end zone. The ball popped out. And here goes the clock.
And to wind the clock in. And once again, no hesitation.
We've got a man down, Chris. Man down for Loganville. That'll stop the clock. I think it might be Beck.
No hesitation by the line judge. He came in, made the call. No question about.
And he has done a masterful job, that line judge on the far side. His job is tough, and he's done a great one here tonight. And we do have a Loganville ball carrier down. And, Chris, we are well within Flynn for chip shot range, but he missed a chip shot for an extra point. And this is high drama at City Park Stadium.
Unfortunate for
and he's up.
Gainesville
Beck is up.
To have an injury of that nature, but it is a break for Gainesville because the clock does stop.
And they get a chance to talk it over. Chris, about a football's length away from victory. 49.9 to play in the contest.
We think.
Loganville either going to win it or lose it at the death. Can the Gainesville defense step up one more time and snuff out what would be one of the most miraculous comebacks we've seen in Georgia High School Association football? A huge underdog, the Loganville Red Devils, on the brink of a monumental upset in Gainesville. Can they close the deal? Laughlin from the shotgun. Clock running. 33, 32. 2nd and 1. And Loganville will take a timeout. And now Coach Godfrey is playing the clock game, Chris. Clock management. Let it run. Call the timeout. How masterful to have 3 timeouts remaining.
So many options here, Kevin. First down, 2nd down and goal. The ball inside the 1 yard line. Obviously, you could try to plunge it. You could try to plunge through and get the touchdown, or if you want to, you could step back, take a knee,
kick the field goal,
let the clock run down to about 3 seconds, give your kicker the most perfect angle, which is right between the hash, and go for it.
Give him a shot at redemption. Now, Chris, we talked at the beginning. Loganville came in here with the record of 2-6. We said they're going to try to come in here and try to put a positive end to their season. This almost counts as 2, I would think. I mean, it really brings, momentum, excitement, belief. You tack on the superlatives. This is really something that we've seen here tonight from this Red Devils team. A huge underdog coming in, has more than doubled their points per game average on the season against a powerhouse Gainesville team that no one expected to be in this position. One more time. Laughlin under center. 2nd and goal. Merriweather, right side. He's in. Touchdown, Loganville. The Red Devils have taken the lead for the first time in the ball game with 24-7 to go. Now, I'm sorry. They led early, 7-0. Pardon me.
Incredible. 27 unanswered points by Loganville.
Loganville has had the football for 90% of the second half. They took the opening kick of the 3rd quarter, and every time Gainesville had the football, they made a mistake. And Chris, you said it. Gainesville did everything to keep Loganville in this game, and it is going to cost them.
Loganville, now they say thank you, but there's 24 seconds left on the clock. And we've seen just about everything.
Going for 2. Loeffner, Merriweather on the give, hurdles the line. They probably should have given it to Merriweather. They tried a little play action there, and it falls incomplete on the far sideline. So instead of making it 48-41, it's 46-41 Loganville. Gainesville with one more shot at it, no timeouts. Now, Chris, in the first half, it didn't take Gainesville but 10 or 12 seconds with that quick strike offense to score touchdowns.
But that quick strike offense has not done anything here in the second half. And that's when they had 24 minutes of football remaining in the second half.
It was 41-20 at halftime. 24.7 seconds remaining in this contest. It's 46-41 Loganville.
Talking about a shocker from Georgia coast to Georgia coast if this score holds.
This will send reverberations, shockwaves, and brings a lot of teams back into it as a result if Gainesville lose this game. Oh, my goodness. The Red Devils have got to stand tall for 24.7.
I would not kick the ball to Trey Harrison.
Now Flynn should make this a bouncing line drive to make sure that somebody fields it and starts the clock.
Harrison's back there clapping, chomping at the bit to get a shot.
And it was his muffed punt that started the avalanche of points for Loganville. Here's Flynn. He's going to drive it deep, a little knuckler. And that's going to be fielded on the near side. It's Payne.
He's got a hole.
It's kicker to beat and brought down at the 42-yard line.
They've got a shot, Kevin. They have a shot. A great return.
16.4 seconds. Gainesville will go to work at the Loganville 42. Got a man down at the 30. It's a Gainesville Red Elephant being helped off the field. Wow, Fred Payne caught that thing in a dead stride, Chris, and he was through the penetration in the blink of an eye. Are we set up for a miraculous save by Deshaun Watson? No timeouts. You don't need first downs. Don't worry about that. You have got to get it in the end zone. A field goal does you no good.
You've got at least 3 plays here, especially if you pick up a first down or 2.
3-man front for Loganville. Max protection for Watson. All day to throw and survey. Goes far side.
Got a man.
Oh, it fell through his hands. Lahias Leverett.
It was there, Kevin. Leverett.
It was there.
I think Leverett fell away from him. If he would have fallen towards the ball, that would have been an incredible catch.
And that play took exactly 5 seconds. Chris, from the 42, you got to call it second down and goal. Again, 4 wideouts. Watson gets great protection from that offensive line. Now fires over the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. Oh my goodness, that would have been Gavin Schmutzer, the junior, but he got a hand on it to knock it down. It'll be third down, 5.8 seconds to play.
Do you have 2 plays? Can you get 12, 13 yards, get up and spike the football 5.8 seconds? I don't think so.
Can Loganville hold on for one of the most unlikely comebacks and victories we've seen? Watson with time. Final play of the ball game. Hail Mary into the end zone, looking for Heyman. Knocked down. Incomplete. Loganville has won.
The shocker in Hall County. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. A great job.
Now, Chris, we got a flag down in the end zone. The Loganville Red Devils have stormed the field in a victory celebration. There is still a flag resting in the end zone. The bucket has already drenched Coach Godfrey. The officials have not left the field. Is it over? And it looks like it is. A conversation with the referee over there. And Coach Godfrey comes over with congratulations for Bruce Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen one of the great comebacks and great wins in recent memory in Georgia High School Association football. Your final score from City Park Stadium is Loganville 46, Gainesville 41. We'll be back to wrap this one up in just a moment. Welcome back to City Park Stadium, where we have just witnessed one of the great comeback victories in recent memory in Georgia High School Association. Chris King, Kevin Beck, Jason, and Kenny back with you in Gainesville. And an absolutely mortified capacity crowd has just seen an absolute steamrolling of a second half by Loganville over Gainesville. Gainesville with mistake after mistake. Loganville executing every time they had to. Onside kicks, timely turnovers, and great execution. Great calls by the coaching staff. Did what they had to do and score 26 unanswered points on the Gainesville Red Elephants. Chris King, take it, buddy. I am in need of a defibrillator right now, buddy.
Just your average, ordinary high school football game here on PlayOnSports.com. What an incredible comeback by Loganville.
Chris, in the third quarter, the Red Devils took the opening kickoff. Stormed down the field, got a touchdown. After that, Gainesville had the football for 6 snaps, committed 4 turnovers, and gave up 26 unanswered points to lose this football game. This has been a ride of the emotional roller coaster that we talk about every week for both sides like we've never seen. No one in the state of Georgia gave Loganville a chance.
Including yours truly.
Coming in here scoring 18 points per game. Gainesville scoring 45 points per game with a high-powered offense that a lot of folks think can go the distance. We find ourselves now talking about this final 46-41 Loganville with the most unlikely turn of events that we've ever seen. You and I have been doing this for nearly 20 years, and I've never seen a team come back like that, do everything right, absolutely everything right, and get every break they needed. If you pitched this to Hollywood, they wouldn't buy it because they wouldn't believe it.
You mentioned before we came back, and I said, well, it means nothing to the standpoint of the stats as far as the win and loss. Gainesville will still play Flowery Branch at Flowery Branch next week for the region championship. It means everything to Loganville. It gives them a huge boost of momentum. It gives them, like I said, that's a pretty long drive from Gainesville to the middle of Walton County and Loganville. That drive won't be so long tonight. But the main thing you said is, what does it do between the ears of the Gainesville players? You said emotionally, mentally, even psychologically, what does it do to the team that everybody had taught it as the one to beat, or one of the 2 teams to beat in this particular region, undefeated in the region, lost the first game of the season by 2 points to a team that's a little bit larger in classification, has been steamrolling through their region, upset the perennial powerhouse Buford in Buford, came here tonight at homecoming expecting double-digit wins. We even thought possibly a running clock in the second half. No disrespect to anyone, but we just thought that's
the numbers bore that out.
The potential that could have happened, and everybody bought into that plan except for the Loganville Red Devils, and I tip my hat to those guys. They did a phenomenal job tonight.
Chris, was this the proverbial epitome of a trap game? Did Gainesville come in here saying 2-6 Loganville is going to wander into our park, we're going to stomp them, we're going to celebrate homecoming, and go into Flowery Branch riding high? Now, they've got to regroup, as you said, emotionally. As a team, they've got to come back from this and go and play a Flowery Branch team that, after watching this broadcast, is going to see a Gainesville team that can absolutely be had if you rattle them. Loganville rattled this team from the opening kickoff. Gainesville went 3 and out on the opening kick. Gainesville came right back and stormed down the field and got a touchdown. Loganville never blinked in this football game. Gainesville blinked every chance they got.
Gainesville regained their composure and had things under control going into the second half. So my question is, we can kind of narrow that from trap game to maybe trap half, because Loganville came out and had a few sparks. Gainesville took control. They had a 3-touchdown lead going into the third quarter, which they're so apt and used to having those big leads and just cruising to victory. But they just couldn't cruise this time. Loganville took the opening kickoff, drove down and put it to within 14 and held on. Gainesville did what they could to keep Loganville in the game, throwing interceptions, big penalties. Loganville stayed around. They scored another touchdown. They fought hard, and they earned every bit of this W tonight, Kevin.
And I think the big turning point in the second half, Chris, probably had to be the muffed punt by Trey Harrison, which gave the belief back to the Loganville Red Devils. And every time Gainesville made a mistake, it set up Loganville in excellent field position with short field, so they didn't have to chew a lot of time. I think if they had if they'd gotten the ball in their own red zone, having to go the distance, it might have been different, where they've got to chew 6, 7, 8 minutes off the clock to just try to scratch and claw their way back into this one. Every time Gainesville made a mistake, it was at Gainesville's 25. The short field hugely aided them, and Loganville, we talked about the defense needing a blow. I don't remember the defense being on the field for more than 45 seconds in the entire second half.
Exactly.
Absolutely a remarkable turn of events here.
A lot of people are going to be watching this and kind of taking this one to the drawing board as to what you need to do against this high-powered Gainesville offense. And the offense was just as high-powered as they have been in the first half. Just the second half, they went to sleep, and Loganville came in and stole one. Kevin, player of the game, we always talk about it. You got to give it to Josh Laughlin. You have to. He stepped in. Royce Harrison, early in the game, twisted his ankle, sprained his ankle, whatever the case may be. Harrison came in, tried to get it going again, could not get it going. The coaches saw, and we both realized that Laughlin was the man who was in the flow of the game. And he was the one that kept Loganville in the game, and he was the more effective quarterback tonight. Maybe not necessarily the entire season, maybe not even the entire game, but during the time where Loganville was trying to move the football and staying in the ball game, they were more successful with Laughlin. You got to give him player of the game.
Absolutely. And Chris, we talk about it every week. You've got to play well in every facet of the football game. The defense for Loganville, they did everything they could to hang with Deshaun Watson and company. The offense, what can you say about the offense? But the special teams tonight for Loganville was the difference. Being on top of the muffed punt by Harrison, the onside kicks. The first onside kick probably should have worked as well in the first half, except the kicker, Flynn, ran past the football and it bounced into his leg. But they executed very well. The missed extra point just made it more dramatic to make it 41-40 to set up that remarkable ending. But I think a great call has to go to Coach Eric Godfrey. He went to every page of the playbook. He might have been drawing stuff in the dirt over there to get this one done, but a great job there. So I agree with you 100%. Laughlin has got to be the one who gets the player of the game from us tonight. Comes in for Harrison and just takes his team to, and absolutely, this will go down in the annals of Loganville football as one of their great victories in the history of the program.
In our first stint in doing these ball games, we were fortunate enough to have some games in that Walton County, Clark County, Barrow County area, and we saw the gutty grittiness of this Loganville program back when they were under the tutelage of Tommy Stringer, one of the great head coaches in our recent history. I would have to put this win up there with any of the wins that the Loganville teams from the 90s and early 2000s had under Tommy Stringer.
And Chris, which team do you think is going to leave here tonight feeling like the championship caliber team? We know the realities that Loganville's season is essentially over. We know that Gainesville's going to play in Flowery Branch next week. But at this level of athletics, for these young men to come in here and do this, not only what it'll do for them as athletes, but as young men to take from this effort as a team is absolutely remarkable here tonight. I'm hugely impressed by every individual down there that made this happen, from the coaching staff all the way down to the last man on the field. A truly, truly inspirational effort.
Kevin, 2 weeks in a row, two teams in the quote-unquote lower half of this region have stepped out and given really good, emotional, inspiring performances. I mentioned earlier that Winder Barrow last week defeated Cedar Shoals. I believe it was it was at home and homecoming, 31-21. First win since the 2009 season. So we tip the hat to those guys, and then Loganville coming right back in this same region. Two of the teams at the bottom of the region, but they're saying, hey, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you will remember us. And Loganville says, hey, Gainesville, you may be able to go as far as you can go, but one of those W's is because of us.
Absolutely remarkable effort here tonight. Well said, partner. And that is going to do it for us here at City Park Stadium, where we have seen an absolute thriller where Loganville comes back to defeat Gainesville by the score of 46-41. I want to remind everybody that you can follow Facebook and Twitter, YouTube are going to be exploding after this one. And Play On Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you all the news and information and links to the great highlights, especially this one tonight. Follow us all the time on Play On Sports and Facebook and Twitter. You can find us there 24/7 and also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/PlayOnNetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every week from your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com. So that's going to do it for us from Gainesville. The Queen City has given us a thriller here tonight at City Park Stadium. For Jason, for Kenny, my partner Chris King, this is Kevin Beck. Thanks for being with us in an absolute monster of a game. Loganville 46, Gainesville 41. We'll see you next week.